All right, everybody. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Mighty Psycho is finally back. And none too soon, for that matter. None too soon. I pretty much went and alerted all my peeps. My peeps. Not sure who's doing the broadcast tonight. I could have sworn that I saw Captain Spaulding was doing one. And that's fine. No biggie on that. This one's not going to be a very long episode tonight. I've been gone for, well, let's see. I think the last time that I ended up doing a broadcast was around the 13th or 14th of August. Yeah. 13th or 14th of August was the last time I've done one of my broadcasts. Now, I briefly, a few days ago, appeared on Captain Spaulding's studio audience for a little bit, just to, oh, good. Here, my friends, is my friend Doug. Go check out the Vinyl Grotto over on Facebook. Doug, I hope you're having a lot better day today than yesterday. Hudson, how are you? I hope you're doing better. I really hope so, honestly. So, since I have a handful of you in here, I'll tell you why I've been gone for the last 3 weeks. So, I didn't really want to admit it back then, but I will say that yeah, I had the COVID, guys. I didn't want to tell anybody. This was in mid-August. I had the COVID, and I don't wish that on anybody. Oh God, I don't wish that on anyone at all. Okay, so the first, the reason why I knew I was sort of doomed was I had a 3-day weekend back then from being off work. So, oh, did you change your name? I didn't know you were going to do that. Stellar Starlight. Oh, okay, Lisa. I'll put up links in a few minutes. You guys know how much I yap. But so the thing is that the after my third day of the 3rd day weekend, couldn't taste nothing. I was like, I'm like, oh no. That's when I knew right off the bat. Oh, second account. Okay, you still got your main cabinet. What are we in a? It's a furniture broadcast, ladies and gentlemen. Did you know that I have an Irish relative that dealt with furniture? His name was Patio Furniture. That's so. No. I know, I'm just being silly. You know what, Doug? I'm going to tell you something. You're right. Today is the first day that I have had a cup of coffee since the 14th of August because I couldn't taste it. It was horrible. So the first 5 days, I could have had a lot worse. Okay, seriously. I mean, I could have been a lot worse. But so after I didn't have the taste, right, I had to get tested. Lo and behold, tested positive. So I had to be under 14-day. Yeah. It took me about 3 weeks for me to get back into the swing of things. I went back to work yesterday for the first time. And but I had a whole headache. I'm not kidding you, for the first 5 days. I mean, like, ibuprofen would dampen it down a little, but it was still there. The weird part about it is, and I mean this, my appetite didn't go away. How about that for strange? So I had the schnoz, all that crap, the headache, right? Stomach a little screwed up. Sometimes I'd feel a little feverish, but okay, so my appetite didn't go away. but I couldn't taste nothing. So my brain would go off and say, hey, I want something sweet. And I'm going, I'm not going to be able to taste it. So I had some pudding cups in the fridge. Took a pudding cup, boom. My craving went away. Is that weird or what? Because that didn't make a lick of sense. Make sure you... I guess... Right. And most of the time I have to wear the masks anyway. I am not vaccinated. I will not be vaccinated. I know some people are going to give me that weird look going, what? You just went through all of this and you're not... I have several reasons, guys. Most of them are health related. I'm not going to get into it, and it's really nobody's business. I'm not saying that snarky. I'm just being honest. So that was the reason why I've been gone for a few weeks, okay? I wasn't up to doing jack squat. And so, you know, I'm kind of back. I'm starting to get into the swing of things. I have so many far behind things for me to do. I was going to do this, remember? I didn't get to that. I'll get to that eventually. I know I'm on 6 minutes here, but just bear with me, okay? So I've had a handful of subs since the last time I was over here. So let's bring up Grown Man Record Night. I might have brought them up before. Very interesting show. I was in the peanut gallery for that. Yes, thank you, Doug. Thank you, seriously. I just hope you're okay too. Record Crate with a K, Dave the Pickup Artist, and Craig's Vinyl Plethora. That is who my new subs are. Thank you very much for being in the Psycho Platter Network. And, you know, I'll try and get back in the swing of things, guys. I do have videos in the noggin here that I want to do that aren't streaming. And Doug, I still have an idea for me and you. I don't know when we'll get it done or started or whatever, but you know what I'm talking about. It's the video I've been wanting to do for quite some time. So let's see. Let's talk about a couple things, a couple new releases coming out soon. One I'm excited about, the other one not so much. And I'll explain when I get there. So, coming out in October, the 40th anniversary of the Rolling Stones album Tattoo You. I'm a Stones fan. I've been a Stones fan since the mid-70s. Actually, to tell you the truth, I think my first 45 that I bought brand new was either Angie or it was It's Only Rock and Roll. So I have liked the Stones for 45 plus years. Tattoo You was the first album, the first Stones album I remember asking for as a Christmas gift. And I mean, obviously, Start Me Up, very iconic Stones song. But you have Start Me Up, you got Waiting on a Friend, you got Hang Fire, you got Little TNA, Tops, a bunch of other ones. The whole album in general is really good. But of course, as the Stones fans would know and would be able to tell you, barely any new material. Some of the material went back all the way to Exile on Main Street. There was Exile outtakes, Goat's Head Soup outtakes, It's Only Rock and Roll outtakes, a little bit of Emotional Rescue outtakes. And so they did a slight re-record, but not much. And for an album that was 90% leftovers, it's a damn good album, all right? At least I think so. And to tell you the truth, it was the last great Stones album until 2005's Bigger Bang, and then 2016's Blue and Lonesome. All right. So that's what I think anyway. So to discover that the 40th anniversary set will have 9, count them, 9 unreleased songs from that era for those sessions. One is on YouTube. And I actually like the song. I do. For the extra little piece of information, is it going to be new mixes? If I remember correctly, yes, Lisa, it will be remixed. I'm gonna get, Blue and Lonesome was a damn good album. I heard we'll get to some other Stones news that I have because we're going to be talking about some deaths, as you guys know, that I've been behind on. But so 9 unreleased songs tacked on to this Tattoo You 40th anniversary edition. I'm not going to go ultimate. I could care less about that crap. The 2 CD edition will do me just fine. The first edition, of course, is going to have that 40th anniversary with a little bit of remix, okay? The second one is going to be the 9 extra tracks. There is in the I think it's the next level up, there is a whole 1982 concert, okay? Which I think would still be pretty cool. But if you want to hear something, I guess, from that tour, Still Life, which was the 82 album that came out after Tattoo You, which had the single that they threw off of that was the Stones' cover of The Miracles' Going to a Go-Go, which I actually liked that version. Of course, I like the original better, but that was the single that came off Still Life. So that's one thing that I'm really excited for, and I probably will pull the trigger on it. The price is actually reasonable for a 2 CD edition. The next thing, which already has been a bone of contention with the Beatle VC. Yeah, I think you guys know where I'm going on this. All right. You 5 people that are in here watching. The Beatles Let It Be set. Okay. So the thing is that I've been a big Beatles fan. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm not talking about Get Back, not the 6-hour documentary on Disney Plus. I'm talking about the Let It Be box set, which I'm led to believe is 8 LPs for the vinyl end, and then you've got 5 CDs and a Blu-ray for your deluxe. I'm not getting any of that, okay? Mayo, me and Mr. Mayo did a very good breakdown on the description if you guys want to go see that video. I can tell you in essence that the first album is the remixed 1970 Giles Martin, and I cannot remember who else is with him on this assisting him, right? That's the first album. The second album, which I would be maybe minorly interested, just out of curiosity, is the Glenn Johns mix, the one from 1970 that had a couple of the extra tracks like Teddy Boy, Save the Last Dance for Me, which went into another song. And if I remember correctly, there was an extended version of Dig It. That one I would be kind of curious about. But the outtakes, from what I have read, I'm not really that damn impressed. And I know a lot of people in the Beatle VC were bitching about there's only one song from the Rooftop. None of the Twickenham stuff was put on the set, and only one song, which if I remember correctly was "Don't Let Me Down" from the Rooftop concert, is on this set. So basically, yeah. You know what? That's probably the wisest choice, Lisa, is to get the 3 CD, because I only ended up paying like 24 something, and I didn't even pay that. John paid for half of it. So, but so the thing is that a lot of the people that have reviewed the lists already have pretty much jointly said, if you have Beatles Let It Be bootlegs, from those sessions, keep them, because there's a lot of, I don't know. And then I keep hearing weird rumors, and I'm saying rumors, that after the Get Back documentary, which will come out the week of Thanksgiving, that supposedly after that, like in early 22, that there will be official soundtracks for that. So, I mean, if that's the case, maybe we'll have some stuff to look forward to. Okay. I just know that I'm probably just going to go get the 2 CD edition, which would be the remix of the 70 album. And then the second CD is going to be alternate takes and maybe outtakes and stuff. I can live with that. And the prices, I think, went anywhere from 130 to about 180. That's the price points for the CD vinyl. I don't know. Yeah, it's weird they're not having that doc on Netflix. Yeah, you would have thought that would have been a little wiser, but I don't know. Disney and Apple have some kind of weird thing going. All right, I know. 15 minutes. We're almost done with this part, and I'll be putting on a link if anybody wants to come up. So there's been a bunch of deaths, of course. Movie TV wise, Ed Asner, of course, passed away. Today, by the way, is was it today or yesterday? Today, I think. Bob Newhart's 92nd birthday. He's 92. And I think when Betty White dies, that's a sign of the apocalypse, ladies and gentlemen. I firmly believe that. Did I show you my Betty White autograph? I don't know. If I didn't, here it is. There's Betty White's autograph. Just in case. So we have 3 music deaths to report. So obviously, some of you guys are going to know most of this, but one is from this morning that I was a little sad about. So Ron Bushy from Iron Butterfly, he has passed away. He was the drummer on all 6 of those albums that they did. And that leaves one original member, Doug Ingle, if I remember correctly. Doug Ingle is alive. And then if we want to get a little more into it, from the 1970 lineup, Mike Panera. Okay, so that's what you've got for Butterfly. All the rest are passed on. This one hit me pretty hard. These next 2 hit me pretty hard. I'm talking about Mr. Charlie Watts from the Rolling Stones, ladies and gentlemen. I'll show you just a couple things, because probably a lot of people were showing Stone stuff. This I picked up for $2 at a pawn shop here in town. This is a DVD of the 1978 Some Girls tour. Let's see if I can find it. Can I see a Charlie pick? I see Stones, ticket stubs. I see. Can't really see too much. Hell yeah. There's your little bit of Charlie there back there. Can't see it very much. I love Some Girls. Some Girls was a kick-ass album. I really loved Some Girls. Emotional Rescue, not so much. And then, like I said, Tattoo You, right? Some other things here. Okay, so how about a copy of Flowers? Yeah, I got a copy of Flowers. Only a slight little tear on the bottom of this. I'll show you in a second. From 1967, of course. But I picked this up for $0.25 at a yard sale a long time back. Look, it's even got the original Inglorious mono, ladies and gentlemen. Flowers in mono. I think that's pretty damn awesome, to tell you the truth. I do not have very many mono Stones. I wish I did. It's just, yeah. See, Hudson says I'm a big Stones fan. Yeah, I am too. I've pretty much expanded my. Originally, I thought 62 to 69 was their best, the Brian Jones era. Okay, but you know what? I'm going to tell you something. I have had in these last few months a lot more love for the Mick Taylor era. So basically, 62 to 74. Okay, is like my favorite Stones era. And then this one here was a bone of contention in 1975. The Metamorphosis album. That's right, because this was a whole entire album of outtakes. Yeah. And I remember getting this, a long time ago. I got this at a garage sale for $1. Okay. It wasn't out very long. It really, really wasn't. So here's your look. See, you could have gotten your Metamorphosis T-shirt. Now, of course, this came out on ABBA, which stood for Alan and Betty Klein Company, ABBA. And it says here, I know you can't read this, but it's funny. It's actually a form in the middle of this. It says, "Send me Metamorphosis T-shirt, $5 each. Price includes postage and handling." And you had choice of 7 different colors, and you mailed it to New York. Probably it was a very generic T-shirt, but I don't give a shit. I probably would have bought this too. I would have. I'll show you the label here. See, it's actually truth. I do not see. Nope, not one scratch. Nice and minty. And of course, there was other little legalities about this album, but you know what? For the time, and you're talking 1975, Stones fans gobbled this up. Okay, you got a mix of Brian Jones era and Mick Taylor outtakes. Okay, so really cool stuff. Out of Time I liked, Heart of Stone I liked, Try a Little Harder I liked, Jiving Sister Fanny, Downtown Susie, of course, Memo for Turner's on here. Just a bunch of goodies, right? So I got a hell of a lot more Stones than that, but I just grabbed what I could find for the moment. This next one really bums me out. And Doug, I don't know if you, well, no, you're in Facebook jail, so you didn't get a chance to see that. Unfortunately, after this came from his daughter, but I also heard it. The beginning information from Johnny Corville, who he was back to being drummer for Black Oak, Arkansas, along with Johnny Bolin. So Ricky Lee Reynolds has passed away from Black Oak, Arkansas, dead at the age of 72. Here is one of the things that they signed to me very nicely. I'm not going to lie, I can't remember if this is one of the albums that I got them to sign when they were here in 2009 and performed in Rogers at that Harley birthday celebration. Showing another one. I got a bunch of signed Black Oak with Ricky, but and this is another thing that came up. I bought this a couple years back because they reintroduced the 1986 Black Oak, Arkansas, The Black Attack is Back CD, which is actually kind of amusing, but really good too. And Ricky signed the CD for me too, so I was very happy about that. Yeah, so Doug, the story was that Ricky ended up having to go into hospital for COVID, but that is not what made him pass. He would look like he was getting better, but the fact of the matter is that he had two heart things. I'm sorry, they tried to resuscitate him, and it didn't work this morning. So that is why Ricky Lee Reynolds has passed away at age 72. I will say this, though, guys. If you like Black Oak, Arkansas, I think my favorite period of Black Oak was from when they started out on the first album around 1970 all the way to the late 1975 on MCA X-Rated. That is an excellent album, too. You still have most of the classic lineup for Black Oak on X-Rated. And then once 1976 hit and Balls of Fire is okay, but Ricky Lee Reynolds pretty much left right between X-Rated and Balls of Fire, right? How about that? X-Rated, Balls of Fire. So, and then he would return back around 1983, and he was with them ever since. Try to go check out on YouTube. There's a bunch of sound clips from 2019. That was the last album they put out, called Underdog Heroes. That's Black Oak, Arkansas we're talking about. I happen to have the vinyl. It's limited edition in different colors. Go to Black Oak, Arkansas's website. You could probably order. They may have some copies left, but I don't know. But I'm hoping to do a review, like a retro review, real soon, because I meant to review it back when it came out. Some good stuff on that album. Good stuff from the Southern Boogie Rockers of Black Oak, Arkansas. I wanted to throw out a couple books here that I picked up. Now, I like Happy Days, okay? I don't know if any of you guys... well, this is really goofy because it says shamelessly entertaining. I have never heard of this book before, and I'm going to be giving this to my buddy Scott. And it says, based on the Happy Days TV series created by Gary Marshall, this came out in 2015. Who killed the Fonz? Who killed the Fonz? I don't know. Maybe the shark came back. Where I'm going on that. Also, probably going to give this to one of my friends. I picked up, let's see what year this is really quick. Comedic Legend, old school too, by the way. Only paid $2 hairs for this. Could not pass this up. Couldn't pass this up for the life of me. 2005. And she passed away in August 2012. I'm talking about Phyllis Diller, Like a Lampshade in a Whorehouse. What a title. My Life in Comedy. Signed. Yes. And I'm like, I'll read this first. But I'm like, I'm going to give this to somebody else. And then I picked this up for 50 cents. Okay. 50 cents at the same place. A 1973 tour book of Tom Jones. It's not unusual. This one was the tour to promote Body and Soul, which was his 16th LP for London Records. I have a friend of mine that is a huge Tom Jones fan. So probably going to get that for the hell of it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I cannot believe I have yapped for 20. Okay, no, I can believe it. I usually try to shut up within 20 minutes. But I want to drop an invite. Yes. And no drama. I don't want no fucking drama. Like my friend Thrifty Tim says, we don't want drama. Not here. You know why? Because Mighty Psyko won't put up with the shit. No, I will not. Now, this is not sponsored by, oh boy, Casey's chocolate chip fudge brownie, ladies and gentlemen. Like my fat ass needs another chocolate chip brownie. But it was chilled in the fridge. How is it? Let's find out. It works. So I left the invite on the stream, on the peanut gallery there, for any of the 11 people that want to pop up for a little bit. I'm probably going to be on for about a half an hour more, guys, at the most, and then that'll be a nice little short show. Okay, well, anybody got any questions? Any reasonable questions that are not too obnoxious for the Mighty Psyko? I don't know. Oh, dear God. You know, when that came out has it been 1998? Shit. When that came out, I went off and I did not want to go to that damn movie. I didn't. I was married to my second wife at the time, and she was like, let's go see Titanic. And I said, let's not, and say we did. Needless to say, I ended up almost in a doghouse. Slider, good to see you here. Good to see you. And so I went. Yeah, I went. In Woodstock, Illinois, we had a cheap theater, $3 brand new movies. And there was a scene in that movie, and if you've seen the stupid movie, you know what I'm talking about. When the ship starts breaking in half, I think it is, or it goes from one. No, it doesn't break in half yet. It goes completely in the other direction, and all the people are falling off, and people are hitting things like human pinball. I laughed out loud in the movie theater because I'm like, so ridiculous, so ridiculous. You know what? So John Mayall played tonight. Still going, huh? I envy you. Mayall was supposed to be here 2 or 3 times. And this was before the COVID nonsense. But he had his heart attack, and there was some other shit for reschedules. And the dude still keeps cranking out albums. I'm happy about that. You know, I mean, you ought to tell us a little bit about it. I'd like to hear it. Oh, 2 weeks ago? Well, still, that's relatively brand new. I haven't been to a concert yet. I have not been to a concert since September 2019. That was the last concert that I went to, and that was the Yes Asia Carl Palmer Experience and John Lodge from the Moody Blues. Look, I haven't seen you in forever. Oh, yeah, I'm glad you did too, Merrick. I know, I haven't. Geez, I kind of wondered if you fell off of the earth or something. I don't know. I know. Merrick, I've been gone for a while myself. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast, unfortunately, the reason why I've been gone for about 3 weeks on here is because I had COVID. And so I was not really in the mood to deal with anything at that time frame. So John Mayall, did they have an opener for Mayall, or was it strictly Mayall? Because, I mean, I like opening acts, but in this case, I would just rather want to see all Mayall. Oh. Do we need to say prayers for you, Merrick? All right. You know what? Okay. I forgot to write that on my sheet. ABBA? The reunion of ABBA is another sign of the upcoming apocalypse. along with Betty White when she passes away. We're doomed, people. We're doomed. I heard the new song. I don't like it. Okay, I'll tell you something. I remembered hearing ABBA's music brand new all the way back to Waterloo in 74. I think it was 74. Waterloo was an interesting tune. My favorite ABBA song, I only have one, and that's SOS. And I'm real surprised that a hard rock band hasn't tried to jump on that and make a really rockin' cover of the damn thing, because I think they could. I really think they could. But SOS is probably my favorite song. Yeah. Over Dancing Queen, over Waterloo, over Fernando, thank you for the music. Yeah, I'm not sure how they're playing that game. I shouldn't really, I guess, knock them. I mean, let's face it, their first new album in 40 years. 40 years. 1982's The Visitor, if I remember correctly, was the last one. So, I mean, if you're ABBA fans, go for it. Obviously, the whole Mamma Mia musical, I think, Voulez-vous? I get what you're saying, Merrick. Voulez-vou's all right. But like I said, SOS is probably my favorite. Try to see. Let's see, what else was there? Name of the Game. Thank you for the music. Shit. I don't know. There's just. Right. Well, yeah. I mean, I want to hear some more. I've only heard the one song. I just didn't like the one song. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, Paul.
Hello there, my friend. How are you?
All right, just thought I'd say hi since nobody else seemed to be coming up.
Hey.
Paul, you're muted. You're muted, Paul. You're muted. Can you not hear either?
Hey.
Hey. Paul's muted, but he doesn't know it.
Yeah, Paul, you're muted. We can't hear you.
We can't hear you, Paul.
There
I
you
didn't
go.
mute myself,
There you
but I
go.
see I'm muted.
You've been muted since I came on.
Ooh, yeah. I don't know what you did.
Well, I don't know what you said, but hi.
That's okay. It wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth repeating, obviously. I think I just basically was saying that Slider was on for 2 seconds and then he fell off.
Oh yeah, I put the thing on and then I went to adjust my phone and I hit a button and it like left. Man, I hate touchscreens. As obnoxious as it is, if I could have like a mouse and keyboard for my phone, I would use it. Like,
she's telling me to, my friend here telling me to use my South American counterparts to help my internet and everybody else's too. Yeah, I know. Yeah, Merrick said the musical turned him off completely from Mamma Mia. I just, like I said, I don't know about you guys. I've never been a big ABBA fan.
Me either, man.
Yeah,
I never was, but the older I get, the more I appreciate them. I'm happy they did it. Let's put it that way.
I think so too. I'm not knocking it.
There's 2 new songs. I think they're both decent. They're not great, but they're decent. They're good.
Oh, there's 2 songs.
They're certainly better than anything on the radio right now. And
my dad really likes them. He showed me this thing where they did a cover of "Wouldn't It Be Nice" in fluent Swedish, which is really wild. Because I think like their phrasing, like Swedish phrasing and stuff, is a little different. So for it to not be like strict Google Translate and have that work, that's pretty cool,
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm
hang on a second. I want to see what this is. Is this you?
Yeah, I'm using different names so the trolls don't find me. Well, I'm still Lisa. I still use Lisa.
There you go. You see, this is the reason why I don't even know how to give wrenches to people. Maybe I'm glad.
Yeah, you know what? You know what? I got in trouble today because I was using my wrench correctly, and someone was like, "Oh, you're not supposed to use your wrench." And then the guy who actually ran the stream said, "No, he used it correctly." I was like, "Thank you for defending me." Yeah, don't give wrenches out, Paul. You're gonna have all these people fight for wrenches. You should only give
out. I like this. Hang on, here comes
you
another
only need to give a wrench to one person, your son, and that's the only person who should have a wrench on your stream.
What's up, Beans?
Kevin, how are you?
I haven't seen Beans in forever, man. I feel like a long lost dad is coming back.
Yay. I've sent a bunch of people on Messenger that I was going to be doing this stream, and certain people have not responded back to me, and so I kind of left them alone.
Yeah, I just really want to
the letter E. I don't know wherever he went.
The letter E.
I did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He hasn't been on in a long time.
Yeah, I want some donuts right now. Hence my name.
That's because Lisa's pregnant.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm due in 2028. Apparently,
boy, that's a long gestation.
Yeah, right. I was thinking the same thing.
No, people ask me if I was pregnant. I'm like, no, I'm just fat.
Ooh.
Kevin, I can't hear you if you're talking. I just want you to know that.
Kevin, get out of the South American internet connection that Paul has.
People are being muted today.
I know he's not showing muted, but we can't We can't
I
hear you.
know.
Kevin.
It's not. We're not mad.
I
We're
know
just
what
joking.
the mute looks like. I
Yeah,
have no mutes on anybody.
I think it's on his end.
Yeah, but
I
I
hope
don't
so,
know what's
'cause I
up.
wouldn't
We
be
can't hear you,
muted.
Kevin.
Sure.
You're muted.
We cannot hear
Now,
you.
you know what, Paul? Now you got me wanting to buy that Rolling Stones reissue of Tattoo You.
That box set
I'm
looks
gonna get it.
crazy. Are you talking about like the
Yeah.
box set?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Rolling Stones reissue, I'm definitely going to snipe at that. But the Let It Be, I think, is stupid. Sorry to all you Beatles fans. Don't need it. But yeah.
From what I've heard, it sounds great. I wasn't interested really till I heard some tracks, and now I'm like, wow.
What, the Let It Be one?
Yeah, they finally
Huh.
sounds like they're getting it right, which they
I
haven't
don't
done
know.
since
You know,
Pepper.
I say I won't buy it, but you know me. If I see it at a CD cost, I
Sure.
probably might just pick it up at Target, like I
See,
did with the Abbey Road.
I was really excited for that documentary that Peter Jackson was doing, and now that it's out on Disney Plus in like 6 giant parts, I'm just, yeah. I
don't even have Disney Plus. I only
I
have
don't either.
Netflix.
I mean, Disney's just. I'm not going to get into it, but like, if I don't have
Yeah,
cable,
my sister said she would let me borrow her Disney Plus if I come to her house and she'll let me watch it.
Yeah, my friend's cousin has it, so if I'm going to see it, that's how. But
Well,
I don't know.
yeah.
Like, him and I are both like music fans. I don't know if he'll sit down and watch hours of a Beatles documentary. I don't think he's got the.
Did you see the Paul McCartney one they had on Hulu? I think it was a 6-part.
No,
Paul McCartney.
I heard about it.
Yeah, I saw like bits and parts of it on YouTube. Like they had a preview, and I don't know. It didn't pique my interest enough to try to get a free Hulu
Yeah,
like I always do.
I've never been crazy about the Beatles solo stuff. Like I like it, but it's just never been as interesting as like the main group was, you know?
Yeah, I totally feel you. I totally feel you in that aspect. I mean, I do own like, some solo Harrison and some solo Paul, but I just never really connected with them like I did with just the Beatles in general.
You know, oddly enough, and I've probably said this before, but you'd never think it, but like the stuff Pete Best did after they kicked him out of the group, it's like really cool Mercy Beat stuff, and nobody ever talks about it, understandably, but like it's actually really cool.
Yeah, I've heard that stuff.
Yeah,
I do enjoy it.
Found one Pete Best 45. I had Boys, his version of Boys on Cameo.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the only one I've ever found for all those years, and it wasn't bad. I listened to it and I was like, huh, okay.
Yeah, there's a comp that goes around, and it's like the Beatle that time forgot. It's just like a compilation album of his stuff with the Pete Best combo. If you ever see that, snag it. It's great. You'd think it's a Beatles thing, but it's not.
Yeah, totally. I would if I find any.
My record store has a small CD section, and I just happened to trip on the damn thing. I paid like $4. It's like, all right.
Oh, I love the CD section. I went to my local thrift store, and I got like 8 CDs for $13. Yeah, CDs are really cheap.
Holy crap. I wish. I mean,
Goodwill's
the closest stuff.
Yeah. I don't really buy CDs unless it's something I want to like blare at obnoxious volume in my car. Like the last CD I bought I bought a copy of Get the Knack. I love that record.
Oh, that's a damn good album.
My boyfriend's a CD collector in our relationship. So he bought War recently, and he's been damn happy with that. He's been blasting that in the car. That one song with Eric Borden, he's been playing that.
Okay.
Like nonstop. He loves that song. I can't tell you how many times I've heard that song in the car, but CDs make some people really happy.
Sure.
Yeah, and he's like, I don't want to collect vinyl because it takes too much space in a house. That's his reason for collecting CDs. Yeah.
And there's some stuff that like never got, it's from that time period where it wasn't on vinyl, or they just never did like a vinyl release of it. Like the last Badfinger Head First, they put out a thing on CD in the 2000s, and man, I wish I had that. I do have, what's it called? Golders Green, which is like a
I don't have that. I've been looking for that.
I have the
And,
CD of that, 7 Park Avenue. That's the other one.
Oh,
But I don't have the
that
other.
either. I'm looking for those two, and then the Over You from Tom Evans.
Tom Evans
Rod
and Rod
Roach.
Roach. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
I don't
Yeah.
have that.
man, get this now. I think he's still doing it, but I could be wrong. I want to say it is. I hope I got this right. Di Jenkins. I think that was his name when he was in the Ivies.
Yeah.
On his site, he has available on CD the Ivies live in '66 at some club in England.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. Because there was that, and didn't Ron Griffiths do like an Ivies live? Was it live at the BBC or something? Because I know Ron put something out too, and I can't think of what it was.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Anyway, look who drawing. Yes.
You got the Goth Angel.
Come on.
He's probably a Cure fan.
Yes. That's my girlfriend.
I do love some old school Cure. Love the Forest song.
I'm doing good.
But yeah, I've been a big Badfinger fan since, oh my God. I think when I was like preteen, I picked up it was either Baby Blue or Day After Day, and I got hooked. Those albums were so hard to find.
Well, yeah, they were.
Yeah, back then.
I didn't.
They were all out of
until the
print
'90s. But yeah, that Head First that you're talking about, that was on Snapper in 2000. My DD joint here went off and had it for like $6. I'm like, grab that, because I knew what I'm like. Holy shit! I played that thing. It was damn good. And I mean, I heard 3 singles off that damn thing. 3, and I'm just like, I still like Keep Believing. I think it's probably my favorite off of there.
Yeah.
And then the other one, both of the Ham tunes. Like
Lay Me
Ham
Down.
singles right there.
Yeah, Lay Me Down.
Yeah, Lay Me Down. And I'm like, I love those 2 damn songs.
The original version of Rock and Roll Contract is on there.
I was going to say that. Hey,
Yeah.
Mr. Manager.
That's
Moonshine.
right.
Yeah.
Plus, you got like "Hey, Mr. Manager" on there. Come on,
Yeah. It's incredible. It's tragic, but it just goes to show how really talented those guys were, that under everything, after everything that happened, they could be like, okay, fuck it, we got to start from scratch and we'll do a whole new record from scratch. We've got 10 days. Let's do it. And they fucking, I shouldn't swear, I'm sorry, but they did it, man. They did it, which is, wow.
I mean, how many bands could do that back then?
Not
How
many.
many? I don't think too many. I have always said that at least every major college or a community college should have a class on, so you want to start a rock band, huh? And you want to go off and think at the big time, huh? Required reading would be that Badfinger book. That one would be required reading. Huh?
That nobody can get.
What was
because
that?
It's been out of print. Yeah, the book that's been out of print for 5,000 years.
I have the 2nd edition, and a buddy of mine let me borrow it. The CD wasn't with it. Although I think he burned a copy for me because it was Ivy's demos. I remember that. I've got the disc somewhere in here in my crates. But that book, I was so fascinated with the whole damn story, and Stan Polly better be rotting in hell, along with a few other bad managers to boot. Okay. He better be rotting in hell. Terry Knight better be rotting in hell from Grand Funk. and Alan Klein. They all deserve to be roasting right around now
Same
for all the
with,
crap that they did.
Who was the guy who managed Moby Grape and like kept the name and all that? That guy too.
Oh, Max.
Matthew
What was Max something? Max.
You're back.
Cats, yeah.
I can
Max
hear you.
Cat, yes.
I love that.
There you go.
There. Yeah. What a prick that dude was. And he was
Well, yeah, 'cause,
Airplane's
like-
original manager.
Right.
Thank
And
God
there's
they
a
got
whole
away
bunch
from
of other
him.
stuff. Like he managed a group called the Tripsichord Music Box, and they had recorded an album. And by the time they finally put it out, or the management let them put it out, it was like it sounded dated. So they released it like in '68, 71. It might have done better. That them and shit. It's a Beautiful Day had issues with them too. With that manager too. Just yeah. Ugh. What a drag.
Another underrated band.
I agree.
But yeah,
You know,
I mean,
go ahead.
It's crazy stuff.
You know, I hate to say this because it sounds like somebody would be profiting off of tragedy, but like if they made a biopic movie about Badfinger, that would be really cool. You know?
Yeah, just as long
I
as
wish
they
they
don't
would.
get any like
That would be.
bad actors to play them.
Yeah. Well, I
Like-
mean that's true because
Yeah, no Robert Pattinson, please, for the love of God.
Oh God.
There is a good
Look
documentary,
with Breaking
but
Bad
that's
and
been
that
out of
baby blue
print
tune at the end.
forever.
Yeah. I mean, they made a
When-
bad documentary about David Bowie recently, and I watched part of it, and I was like, oh, no.
Well,
It
no,
was just,
the Badfinger one has the two surviving members at the time in it, and it's good, but it's never been on DVD. They made Laserdisc. It's on VHS and Laserdisc, and it's a shame because everybody needs to know.
well, they should do that. They should release it on DVD. There's people out there that will buy it.
But
Yeah.
Paul, did you hear like the drummer from Iron Butterfly died?
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, I
Aw.
brought up
Ron Bushy?
Ron
Yeah.
Bushy, Charlie Lee Reynolds from Black Oak, Arkansas. All
You know
three
who
of them
else?
I brought up?
The drummer from the Circle just passed too. Marty. Oh shoot! What's
That's
his
right.
name?
I forgot to bring him up. Yeah,
Yeah.
damn it.
Yeah,
That's
so
another-
many people.
That's another great underrated group, the Circle.
Of course, what was it? The radio always played Red Rubber Ball and Turn Down Day. Those were the only two. Wax Museum with Ronnie Dark that was on tonight. He played a track, but I can't remember what it was. It wasn't one of the two. It was an album cut, I think, from Neon.
Yeah, their albums,
And,
both of them are solid.
yeah.
They did a movie soundtrack, but I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, you should have picked it up, Vinyl Resting Place. Maybe you still can. I'd grab anything. I think they only put out, about 2-3 albums on Columbia? That was it?
The Circle?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I got
there's
Neon and Red Rubber Ball.
there's the two of those, and then they did a soundtrack for a movie called The Minx. But that album is like ridiculously rare. Sunday's reissued it a couple of years ago, but I don't have it. I don't know anything about it really.
Yeah,
I didn't know
Sunday
that. I'll
does
have to
good
look for that too.
reissues.
Thank you, Hudson, for subscribing. I just saw that.
Hudson's cool.
But yeah, I forgot about the dude from the Circle. Shit.
Oh,
Where are we
and-
going?
Shoot, here's another one that I saw the other day. The original lead singer for the Amboy Dukes, John.
Right, John Drake.
Yes, the guy who sang "Journey to the Center of My." That's another fantastic record. But yeah,
Those first couple Amboy Dukes albums are really good. I've got one. I can't remember which one.
I've got all of them. So.
Stephen Schnee says the Minx is a great soundtrack.
Okay. Good to know.
See, Vinyl Resting says in the mid-'60s, there was this magazine that would put out a flexi disc every month with interviews and music. They had one for The Circle, and there was another one of Simon and Garfunkel. I think I kind of read that somewhere too, but I don't remember the magazine.
I hope somebody archives those kind of things. That's cool.
Yeah. Flexi discs are pretty cool.
I think I showed it. If I had it, I'd show. I just don't remember what box I stuck it in. I found the last time I was at the record store, I picked up I think it was a white label promo on Columbia Turn Down Day. I got that. Yeah, I got that, and then found the Paul Revere Raiders Him or Me with a white label too.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
That was one of those. That album that's on is like one of the big differences between like mono and stereo mixes. Like the mono mix of Revolution is like night and day better than the stereo mix. Normally, I don't really notice it that much, but that was a big deal on that album.
So I read some little, speaking Raiders just for 2 seconds, because somebody put it on a Facebook feed that in I think it was 71, there was almost a little bit of difference in the rock and roll universe. I guess we're talking, there was like one phone call away where the Stones almost ended up with Clive Davis on Columbia, and the Raiders this close to going to Atlantic Records with Ahmet Ertegun. How about that for a switcheroo? I think both of their careers would have still worked out really well on those labels.
It totally would have.
Well,
I've been
reading
reading Clive Davis's autobiography. I'm about halfway through with it. It's a pretty boring book, but some of the things he made some really great decisions, but he made some bad decisions too.
Yep.
Yeah. One of the worst decisions he made is in like 74 when Bell was going under, and he was not Bell, 75 when Shelter was going under and Arista was just starting. He was supposed to get anybody he wanted from Shelter. And there was 2 acts he really wanted, Dwight Twilley and Tom Petty. But RCA had a deal with Shelter. They were the distributor, and because of legal reasons, the president of Shelter called Clive Davis and said, "I'm sorry, but you can only have one of the acts. You can't have them both." And Clive Davis chose Dwight Twilley.
Why, Clive? Why?
Well, Dwight Twilley was more promising in 75 than Tom Petty.
No, Dwight Twilley was on fire. Like, pardon the pun, he was on fire back then.
Yeah, you know? I mean, so you can't really fault him for it. But wow.
Yeah.
You know,
Clive Davis is an interesting person. I think he's the one that signed Whitney Houston, right?
Yeah.
If I remember correctly.
He signed all kinds of people.
Yeah, I seen his attempt at a TV show one time, I think, or might have been someone else, but yeah, he attempted those reality shows.
Yeah, I mean, he signed Springsteen.
Yeah,
he signed Billy Joel.
Yeah.
He signed all kinds of people.
He signed so many people, I forgot who he has signed.
Santana.
Oh yeah, Santana.
Yeah.
Janis Joplin.
Janis Joplin's great. She was one of a kind.
Yeah, he wasn't perfect.
No, none of them is perfect. I heard he was part in the thing. I heard he was into both sexes. I kind of read a little bit of his biography.
He's not going to talk about that in his autobiography, so I have no idea.
Talking about Clive Davis, he signed Donovan. Come on, you know.
Oh yeah, Donovan. I saw his music video recently for his new song. It was bizarre, but yeah.
Very strange.
Yeah, it was a strange video. I was like, okay, Donovan.
Perhaps he's still there, though, and that's a good thing.
He is still there. his kids are actors. Yeah, his daughter was in that one movie. I can't remember the name of the movie she was in, but yeah. Yeah, Janice is one of a kind. We'll never have another musician quite like her in terms of singing range and just vocal range. She was unique.
So, has anybody picked up anything interesting in the last couple of weeks since I've been gone? Any interesting vinyl finds or anything, guys?
I found.
Hi, Thomas. Good night, Doug.
I found a copy of Arthur and the Decline of the British Empire, whatever it's called, by the Kinks. I found it in the dollar bin, and I got real excited, and I went to play it, and it just skips the whole way through it. So that was a bust. Yeah.
I got for $8. I got Rush's Moving Pictures.
Oh,
it was something I've been meaning to get in my collection. So I saw it at the flea market, and I also picked up some Buffalo Springfield because it was $5, and I picked up a mono Rolling Stones. And what else did I pick up? I forgot. I picked up quite a few things at the flea market, but the Rush one is not in the best of condition. But for $8, I wasn't gonna really complain.
So when I was out in Wisconsin for the concert, there's this record store in Madison called Strictly Discs. It is the best record store I've ever been to.
Yeah,
I found something there that I've been looking for years, and I couldn't believe it. Here, okay, you know what this is? Have you seen this before?
Oh, Jesus, yes.
I know.
Wow.
I could not believe it. I don't remember what I paid for it. Probably too much, but I don't care. It was there, so I got it.
Show that again, please. Both front and back.
Okay.
Yeah. I know what that is.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
The other thing, not as crazy, but I've been looking for this too. You got the Five Americans. You guys know the Five Americans, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Michael Raybon and Choctaw.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So after the Five Americans split, this was his solo album, I guess. Michael Raybon.
On Uni? Is that what it says?
Yep, that's it.
So
those were the big highlights from that.
Nice.
I always find something crazy at that place.
Yeah, that should be the tagline of the movie. I spent too much money on it, but I don't care. It was worth it.
So I forgot. Where do you live exactly, roughly?
Me?
Yeah.
I live near Pittsburgh, but my dad lives in Minnesota, so I'll fly out there and we'll go see concerts somewhere around out in the Midwest. I really like the Midwest. Maybe it's just because I'm getting out of Western Pennsylvania for a bit. Man.
Yeah, Pennsylvania. There's only so much you could probably handle. Pennsylvania.
It's just a drag.
Yeah.
I was in Western PA for 10 minutes once. That was it. 10 minutes in the 90s.
Yeah, I remember you telling me
and leave.
Yeah. But Ohio,
we will not discuss Ohio.
I'm cool with that. That's fine.
No.
That's a running joke.
Sorry, Ohioans.
That Fuse album, I always find everything backwards. I found out about that because Fuse fused with Nas after Todd Rundgren left. So that's how I found out about that. I didn't find out about it because of the Cheap Trick connection. I found out about that later, which I find everything backwards. It's ridiculous.
I'm trying to remember, though. Is there anybody from Nas on Fuse? Because
No.
I didn't think so. But I thought I heard somewhere in I don't know, maybe something landed on the Cheap Trick box set. I don't know. But I could have sworn they cut some tracks in Stick Man of Europe.
Yes.
You got half a Nas and that.
So those are just demos, though, and the sound quality is horrendous. I have a Nas bootleg somewhere on my shelf, and it's those 3 songs are on there, and it's clearly the singer of Nas. I recognize that voice. The guy who sang for Nas was a great singer. It's a shame he didn't do anything else. But but those didn't go anywhere. And then the singer from Nas and the drummer left, and then Sick Man of Europe became Cheap Trick. 75, 74. I don't know my timeline that well on that.
Yeah, no, you're right. 74.
Okay, but yeah, some of those songs they re-recorded as Cheap Trick, but I don't remember the names off the top of my head. I'm pretty sure that the Sick Men of Europe demos are on YouTube, but again, they're like the quality's not good. You know, it's
try to listen to them. It was maybe, I think, shortly before COVID that I remember Facebook. For some reason, I was talking with Stookie.
Oh yeah, I'm friends with him too.
Yeah, and it was him, and this was after Carson Van Osten died. Like maybe I'd say within 2 months, 3 months after that.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was Stookie and
Tom Mooney.
Thank you. So Stookie and Mooney, right? Mm-hmm. And they started doing little things together again. And I said, I probably started something I shouldn't have at the time. I said, hey, how about doing, you know what, me and EPs, oh my God. I said, how about you two try to get a hold of Todd for
Good
a track or two and see if you guys could do a Nas EP. I know I was asking for too much, but I'm like, but guess what Stookie said? He said, never say never, something like that. And I'm like, that would be hilarious to get those 3. Even though
I would go wherever to see that show. Holy crap. Because, wasn't there a Nas concert thing not too long ago? It was the singer and the drummer, and then they had the rest of like a backing band with them. Right? I remember hearing about it on Facebook.
Yeah, that's where I read about it.
Yeah, that would have been wild. I mean, maybe it's just because it was a minor hit, but like Todd hasn't completely disregarded all the Nas stuff. Like he plays "Open My Eyes" in all of his shows.
Yeah,
so
I love that song.
Me too.
I love that song. If you're gonna rip off the Who, that's where you rip it off for.
I never thought of that. I guess you're right.
Well, because if you hear the first,
it can't explain exactly.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they
in it.
Went right over my head.
Back then for that one. I would have been that shitty music lawyer, and I would have been like, "Hi, Nas. Great hit on your hands, but I'm here to represent the Who, and they caught your hand in the cookie jar. So you better go off and give them a little writing credit, or you could fuck the hit." I would have been one of those douches, and I'd get my cut. Just because hi, John Cougar.
There's never a fee unless we get money for you.
John Cougar Mellencamp. Hey, how you doing? So excellent ROCK in the USA. Decent hit on the charts. I'm here for Neil Diamond, and he was like, "You fucking stole from Cherry Cherry, motherfucker. So you better go off and give him a little taste, or we're going to sue."
What? That's nothing compared to the Authority song.
Okay. That's right. Who did he rob?
The Authority song was "I Fought the Law" 100% with the lyrics just slightly changed. Just slightly.
They'll be like, okay, so you didn't learn your lesson the last time, huh, John? A nice Authority song. I fought the. Yeah, I'm here on the estate of Bobby Fuller 4, motherfucker. We know what you did. Now you better give us a taste or we're suing you. I would have been the douchiest music lawyer because I would be smiling from ear to ear because they'd be like, "Caught you in the cookie jar, motherfucker. Pay up or I'm going to sue you." I would have never had to work a day after like 10 of those lawsuits. I would have just been in my mansion going, "Ooh, how did you get this?" "I sued them all and won."
I fought on behalf of the law, and the law won.
Yeah, all he did was change the tense.
and I can't remember the comedy song, but it was "I fought the lawn and the lawn won," and I'm like, that sounds like my teenage lawn mowing days. But yeah, I would have done all that shit. And imagine the early days of rap with all those music stuff. Hi, why are all of us in this room? Why is there 20 of us, different artists? Very simple. I liked all your hits. You guys did great music. But I am here from the estate of James Brown.
Oh, right. You're probably wondering why I gathered you all here, right?
You stole the drum break from this. You took this. You took that. You took that.
Well,
give them a taste or you're all getting sued.
Well, yeah. It's funny.
What
but
the Time Lords did.
God, can you imagine
the Time Lords track?
Dude, like, can you imagine how many people would have gotten, like, wrecked if, like, Bo Diddley somehow copyright the Bo Diddley beat? Holy crap. Like, speaking of records, I played the Strangeloves album the other day. That was one I got a while ago. And I'm like, how did they do this? Right? It's right. The Bo Diddley beat. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, Bo Diddley should have sued their ass. It's like, he's the owner of the Jungle Beat. Give him a taste, or I'm going to sue your ass. That'd be my line. Give him a taste.
He took off his glasses and said, "Man."
Yeah. Here's your 25 grand.
Yeah.
Here you are. I did my job.
Yeah.
I would have been one of the biggest lawyer musical douches in history. He goes after everybody. Ask him straight. Nothing original anymore in music. Come on.
Well, especially
what they call music now.
Yeah, well, here's the problem with that. And I think it's the same as anything else. It's the same with movies. And in a lot of cases, it's the same thing with video games, too, which is like my other big hobby. But it's just nobody wants to take a risk on anything. So that's why everything sounds bland, generic, and inoffensive, is because it's almost a guaranteed sale. Why take a risk on something when you can just guarantee to write, I don't know, but the same song over and over again because people will buy it? I mean, and it's not like that's never happened before. I mean, AC/DC's put out the same album for 50 years, but also, like, I don't know. I like AC/DC, so that's a little different, but you get what I'm saying.
Right. I always
but
like
that's in a way, too, like, we live in the era of crowdfunding and independent stuff like comic books, movies, games, music, anything. Like, there's this band I like from the 90s called Chagall Guevara, and they were only around for a couple years and they broke up. They recorded a live album before they broke up, but it never came out. And then a year ago, they did a Kickstarter and they funded the release of this live album, and it's fantastic. But, like, if it was just up to the regular labels, that stuff would just sit in the vault forever. So just, the era of crowdfunding and independent creation and stuff is really the way forward for anything meaningful. Because, everything mainstream is just bland, just about.
Yeah, it's the game has sure changed in the last 10 years, especially. I remember even when they shifted from whatever the hell the system was to SoundScan, and everybody was like, we can't go off and inflate shit anymore. Yeah. And I mean, let's face it, to have a number one on a Billboard chart, I'm trying to remember. I think I laughed at this one time, and I can't remember what magazine I was reading, and I saw that the person sold 40 or 50,000 copies. This was within the last 2 years. I saw this, and that got him to number one. And I'm going, in what damn musical universe? Because when we were all growing up, to get number one was what? 200, 300,000 at least?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's just, again, how things are shifting. Like, how many people are buying physical music?
17,000 will get you to number one. these
everything's just
17,000.
And that's just how the market is shrunk.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
And I'm a sucker for physical media. I will purchase physical media till that option no longer exists, but I am not going to do downloads. Not doing streaming, not doing downloads. I'm sorry. I guess it's just because I'm an old fuck and I really just don't want to do it.
Sometimes
I did it for a while.
I like it when a record comes with a download code. So like that way I can I have the actual thing, but then I can like take the files and put it on my phone to listen to while I'm going somewhere, which is nice.
Sure.
But
right, it's an added bonus.
Yeah.
I used to download, and what I found is I did it back in the days when everybody was stealing everything. Okay, so I can have anything I want, right? So now what? It's like you offer a dog 100 bags of dog food, which he's gonna starve to death before he picks one. You sit there and you don't listen to anything because the world is in front of you. What do I listen to?
Right. That's like how I agree with that, because that's how I feel about when people just say, "Oh, you can just order anything online. Why would you want to go to a store?" And it's just like I can't reason with people, but it's just there's something about I'm looking for X, but I also see K, L, S, and it's like, okay, this is really cool.
Right.
You know?
Exactly.
Now, I will make one justification for streaming, and just hear me out on this, okay? So imagine record labels have a bunch of stuff in the vaults. They're worried about whether they'll make any money on it or not, so they won't do a full release. Now, if they put it out on streaming, all it will cost them is what it takes to transfer it to digital. And that way it's available and it's just profit from there. So that way it's available in some form instead of rotting away in the vaults. Does that make any sense? So while I would rather have a disc of it, I also would rather be able to listen to it somehow than it just wasting away and tape degrading in the vault somewhere. So in that sense, that is better than nothing. So that in that case, I can justify digital a little bit. But other than that, yeah, I'm with you 100%.
Yeah. No, you have a valid argument there. You do. You have valid points. And I guess I would agree with you on that also, because it beats sitting rotting in a vault, not doing anything. And I'd rather hear it. I would rather hear it. Just like I brought up about that, not just using the Beatle thing as the example, that there's a lot more out there. I don't know why they're not going to. Maybe they will do something down the line. Or like I said, that Stones Tattoo You 40th anniversary with 9 unreleased cuts. That's why I'm getting it, is because of those 9 songs. I'm like, holy shit, I didn't know they had that much that they were doing for that record at that time. And that even surprised me. I mean, I'm not an uber Stones fan, but I was kind of shocked. So we could put that into any band, fill in the blank. It's like, your valid point here. Let's kick this up for a second on a Beatles end. Okay. If I remember correctly, wasn't it 20 what's the rule with the copyright usage? 56 years?
50 years.
Is it 50? Okay.
So in my head hurts. This doesn't. I don't know. But remember when they went and did for the Beatles that they did the Stones did the same damn thing too with the classic. Yeah. But on the last day of the year, we're dumping it on digital, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, what's this?
Okay, it was after 50 years because people had started putting it out, and EMI went, whoa. So then they put it out digitally to stop that.
Yeah, that's it.
That's why that happened.
Yeah, because I could have sworn I read a little story about some Canadian record company. It was some piss-ass label, and they got a hold of some of that public domain, and they were getting ready to release it. I don't know if it ever came to be, but I remember reading a story a little bit about this, and they said that was one of the things as to why they did the dump. I call them the dump. But and I'm assuming that, let's see, did they do 64? I think they did all of 64. So we're coming up to next, it should be 65 pretty soon. So all the Beatles 65 stuff that hasn't been out will come out, which, I mean, that's fun. I got to hear little snippets. I got to tool around a little bit while the door was open. Same thing for the Stones. I heard some incredible stuff, and then they closed it. That, like, I want to say it was only open for about 3-4 days for the Stones. Then they shut the door. But I got to hear some interesting things. Keith singing on stuff he didn't sing on before. I'm going, huh? I'm like, I like this. And then it was gone. I'm like, son of a bitch.
Okay, I got a Stones question. Now, you know, there's that story about the Rolling Stones song "Happy," how Keith heard Mix sing it and he chucked the tape out and sang over the vocals. Is there a version of "Happy" where Mix sings that survived? Because I've never heard that. I don't know if that's a thing or not.
I've never heard it.
You got me. I don't know what it is, but I always look for the Keith cut on every album. I like it. It's just like, here we go. You want to hear it raw and bare and honest? There's your Keith cuts. And I always look
Keith's
for
book, Mick isn't on that anywhere. In fact, I'm trying to remember, Keith might be the only Stone actually on that track, because
on which one?
Coming back to record, and he was like the first one back or something. I don't remember the story, but
for Happy,
they recorded that song sans most of the Stones.
Now you got me wondering. Hang on a second.
Well, that's ironic that Keith was the first to show up, because I mean, he used to, like, you know, get wasted and not show up at all. I mean, we have Jam with Edward because of that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is,
which in itself is actually really cool. It's just a little jam session, but it's a pretty cool record, not gonna lie.
So it's whoever was around, and it was in, I'm trying to think, were they in France? I'm trying to remember where they were.
That sounds about right. Would have been like, what, 72?
Yeah, 71 probably. But yeah, so anyway.
So let's see here. Okay, so this was recorded. I got this from songfacts.com. This was recorded at Richard's Villa in France when the Stones left England to avoid paying the taxes. They used the basement in the recording studio. The only people to play on this were Keith, producer Jimmy Miller on drums, and horn player Bobby Keys. And the horns were dubbed in. Oh, he was on percussion. They dubbed the horns later.
Wow. I actually didn't know.
There you
go. Yeah.
There you go. So, yeah, then if Mick, I would have thrown the tape out too if I was Keith.
Yeah.
So I heard, and I'm not sure how true it is, that there was a new studio album finished before Charlie died.
No, and I did not hear that.
That's like it was either complete or about 80% complete. Okay. The other thing I heard, because I don't know if the rest of the consensus out here, I love 2016 Blue and Lonesome. My God, what a damn record.
Oh, yeah, that's a great album.
They went back, and I was very happy. I must have played that thing a half a dozen times in a row because I just thoroughly enjoyed that damn record so much. Supposedly, I don't know how complete it is, there was a second volume made. So, come on. I want to hear it. Next year.
They only recorded for a few days, so wow. But yeah, they've been working on the Stones album for 10 years, so it must be just about done. I mean,
well, yeah, because I mean, all that really came out after that and around in between was just a bunch of like one-off singles like Doom and Gloom and Ghost Town or something like that.
Yeah.
Merrick says piano by Nicky Hopkins was added later, as were Jim Price's trumpet, keys, saxophone, and the final vocal tracks, which included mixed backing vocals.
Okay, well, there you go.
But so hopefully 2022 will have some new Stones stuff, but I really hope they don't do any more. I'm sorry. He was the backbeat, damn it. And I loved his feel. It was a jazz fan. It was like boom, boom, boom. And I'm like, you knew it was a Stones record the first few seconds. It's like, that's Charlie. And I know this story went around after he died, but I heard about this before he died, about that time that Mick was at some party or something, and it was 3-4 in the morning, and his guests are like, "Where's Charlie?" And they're like, "Hang on a minute." And Mick's fucking calling Charlie's room, right? And he goes, "Where's me drummer?" He gets all night, clean shit, looks to the nines, comes down there, knocks on Mick. You're my fucking singer. Bam! And I'm going, that man, boom, way up in the respectable range. I'm like, good for you. And another interesting Charlie story that came out. So you guys are going to be better at this than I am. Whatever tour it was for the Stones, where Bill Wyman came back and did cameos, and so did Mick Taylor. It was the last tour with that when Mick came back. Did like 2 or 3 songs in select shows, okay? So Mick, I guess he went off and asked for the transportation issue to go between the gigs. And I guess he went to Mick or Keith and went off and said, well, how do you want me to do it? He goes, get on the bus. In other words, with the crew. Charlie overhears this. And he's like, no. Get in the limo. This is how we're riding for the next few dates. So it was him and Mick Taylor like this in the limo just going. So Charlie seems to be the nicest one of the whole damn bunch, it seemed.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, Charlie was cool.
His jazz stuff. I think he put out like one or two jazz.
I love that he collected cars and he'd buy outfits to match his cars, and then he just sat in them because he didn't drive. I love that. That is just so cool.
I did not know that. That's hilarious.
Charlie Watts collected cars, but he did not drive.
But yep. And I guess also he was the easily accessible for autographs. I'm not kidding you. Earlier this year, I was going to write to him. I got a hold of Charlie's address where it was okay to send stuff. I wasn't going to send no vinyl. I wasn't that dumb. I just simply wanted to send some CD covers. I'm like, let's see what happens. And he personalized stuff, which I'm like, I don't give a shit. I want it personalized. These people are like, I ain't signing it because you'll sell it on eBay. Not if you put my fucking name on it, please. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of people were getting major success with Charlie. And I was like, I want a Stones autograph. But that's okay. But yeah, so maybe we'll have some new stuff next year. That would be really, really nice. If you work with a bunch of guys for over 50 years, you got to believe crap happens frequently. Yeah. yeah. But damn, just, I don't know. They're all going. And to throw a slight shift for a second, I remember, reading on Facebook in one of the Monkeys groups that I'm in, that there already is some slight snags and cancellations on the Mickey Mike tour. And I'm just like, I wasn't going to go anyway. They're not going to be anywhere close to me. I think Kansas City was the closest, which is like 3.5 hours. And I'm just like, I'm glad I saw him when I did in 13 with the Mickey, Mike, Peter lineup. And of course I saw Davey a couple times too, but yeah, there's already been some snags and shit. And I guess there's some mild behind the scenes stuff going on too. But I also found out this week, someone is writing a book on Peter Tork.
I think I saw about that.
Yes. I hope they do it nice. I mean, I always liked Peter. He wasn't my favorite Monkey, but I never had any issues with Peter. I think truthfully, as far as in the niceness department, when I met them all. It'd be Davey, Peter, and Mickey. That's how, in that order. So, but yeah, so I guess they're saying they want to get the book finished by next year, by the end of next year. So I'm like, okay, yeah, maybe hopefully we'll have some interesting things.
Can't wait to see what other stuff that 7A has vault-wise.
Oh, I'm so glad you brought that up.
I think we talked about this before, but yeah, I'm with you.
I went and put a bug in someone's ear. Now, whether or not this happens or not, maybe it can't. Maybe, but it was originally released on Davy's own label, and last year they reissued it on digital stream. I don't think it made it to CD though. It was a Davy Jones Christmas album. Christmas Time Comes Again. If I remember correctly, it's him in a Santa Claus suit, and it looks like in a desert. And I'm like, and I blurted out and I said, "Can 7A release it?" I said, "Let 7A release it. Please let 7A release it." You know, I don't even know what they've got up for the next bag of tricks, because that Dolan Sings Nesmith, I've played that close to 10 times already since I got it. And I love that record. I think it's a damn good record. I'm trying to remember. Mickey was working on something else too, but I can't remember what. I don't remember what.
They always do like quality products, so whatever it is, it'll be top quality.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I picked up, was it Mike Nesmith at the BBC Paris Theatre?
Yep.
And it's like there's like he does Silver Moon and Joanne, and then that's kind of boring. And then he does 3 songs from the prison. And like he tells the story of the prison, and it's just him singing these songs and his acoustic 12-string, which I play guitar, and it really knocked me out because I couldn't figure out what he was doing. What he did was he tuned his guitar a full step down and put it into drop D, and that's how he was getting that sound. But like the first time I listened to that record, I mean, it's still powerful, but it just knocked me out. Like a word to describe it is ethereal. Like it's just awesome, you know. Just great live recording, great songs, just amazing talent.
I'm not going to lie. I wish I had the prison. I don't have it. I know. I think Stephen Schnee brought it up and said it's in that NES box, but I'm like, I got all the other NES ones. That's the only one I need. And I'm like, I'm led to believe when he put it out, I think it was in 75. I don't know if I'm getting this right, that it did not sell well. And I mean, I know Nez was selling them in his Video Ranch website, but the price to me was, and I'm like, I said, I ain't paying that. Sorry. And I mean, hell, I'll even take it on CD if somebody would release it on damn CD. I don't think it's been put on CD.
I think it has, but I think that version they did remixes on it. That's weird. So I don't know. I found mine at a record store bookstore up at Penn State. This has got to have been 6 or 7 years ago now, but I only paid like $30 for it. But I couldn't believe it when I saw it. Yeah, and like as is weird of an idea of reading this short story while the record plays, you would never think that would work. It works. Let me tell you, it's really cool because you'll be like reading the story, and then like a plot point or something will happen, and then the musical tone shifts. Whether that's, I'm sure I don't read as fast as Nez does, but like it worked that way. It'd be like, and then he saw this as he thought this weird thought, and then doodle-doo-doo-dum, and then the music changes. It was really cool. Like. Yeah, I'm rambling. Sorry, but just it was awesome.
No, that's fine. I could have sworn I don't know. I'm gonna get my titles wrong. It's either Ocean or The Garden. Yeah. He tries the same treatment.
Those are 2 separate things. So there was Prison was 74, Then in 1994, he did a follow-up, though they're not like direct continuation. It's like, I guess they're thematically similar, called The Garden. And then 2015, he did another one called The Ocean, which a lot of people don't seem to like. It's kind of weird and it's its own thing. But he was selling a box set that had all three of them for like over $100. Everything on Video Ranch is overpriced.
Right.
Like, I love Nez as much as the next guy, but that's ridiculous.
The only saving grace, at least for a price deflection, for me, is that you can get anything from that website signed by him, and I'm like, okay, which I've taken advantage. Well, I don't want to say taken advantage of. I've probably like, all right, give me a second, guys. So I haven't even told my friend. This is a little old, so bear with me. But I got my copies in the other room. But I ordered from Video Ranch. Why do I have a Magic Gathering card? Who is it? No, my kid plays Magic. It is a Nick's Born Courser. Whoever the hell, I don't give a shit. So,
never got into that
because I ordered this through. I ended up getting stickers. Yeah. How about that for a little trippy? And then, which I like. I got 2 of those.
That's cool.
Yeah. And he'll throw little goofy things in from time to time. So my friend Kathy up in Illinois, huge Monkees fan. So remember when this came out recently? Well, I got him to sign to her. So she doesn't even know yet she's getting this because she's got a Mickey autograph, a Davey autograph when we saw Davey together years and years ago. And the only one she doesn't have is Peter. And I figure one way or another, I will find a damn Peter autograph. And then she too can have all 4 of them on separate items like I have. But yeah, so I mean, getting the stuff signed is it cuts the sting a little bit. But you're right, most of the shit's just way overpriced. And I'll tool around in the clearance. Once in a while, he'll do clearance, and I'll be like, anything good? I don't know, whatever.
As far as autographs go, I got he came to a Comic-Con in Pittsburgh in 2018. I have a 12-string Gretsch.
Sure.
Yeah, I got him to sign that. That's enough for me.
Oh, sweet. Nice to get it on a 12 string.
Yeah, and Mickey was at the convention in July, and I got him to sign the same guitar. So that was pretty cool. I got there, and the lady that runs the booth, she does stuff for all kinds of people. And we ended up talking about the New Monkees and Marty Ross for like a half hour. It was actually pretty funny.
Was it Jody Ritson?
Yep, that's who it was.
See, you didn't expect me to know that answer, did you? Yeah, because me and Jody
I don't know. I don't want to help people. You know, it's just whatever. Yeah, she did the meet and greet for the Wigs. The Wigs had a reunion show in Milwaukee, 2018. So that was Marty Ross's band before the New Monkees. Okay, and she did the meet and greet for that. And when I walked up to the booth where Mickey was at, and she saw that I had Ness's autograph, she goes, "Oh yeah, you were here the last time." And I said, "Yeah, I was at the Wig show too." And she stopped, jaw dropped for a moment. I'm like, yeah, that was me. I was there.
I'll tell you, I don't know if you guys will agree with me on this or not. That New Monkees album,
yes,
if it didn't come out as the New Monkees or just another band name, shit would have went straight up the charts. Such a damn good pop record. And I'm going, and it had to be burdened by that New Monkees name. Seriously, there was some good tunes on that damn record, I thought.
And it's very similar to the original Monkees situation too, because all of them, not to say anything bad about Jared, I just don't know anything about him. But the rest of them, they all had musical backgrounds. Like Larry, which you should check this out if you never have. Larry has a band now called Colorvine. It's great. But okay. Larry was in bands before Marty had the Wigs. Dino was in a band called Snake Out, which is like rockabilly punk, which is weird, but okay. Whatever, man. But like, it was great. And they had real potential. It's just the name and the way that the show was run that killed them. Because and here's another thing too. I think if they were allowed to actually be as funny as they are, Marty Ross is like one of the funniest people who's ever lived. But when they filmed the show, they didn't allow any of the crazy improv that the original show had. And so it's just, there's episodes on YouTube. It's just stale. It tries to be funny, but it's mostly not. There's a couple moments here and there. But if they were allowed to be as funny as they were, they might have actually been able to overcome the name. Maybe.
That would have been cool. I think I saw a snippet of one of those New Monkeys episodes, and I have to agree with you. It's just, I will say this though. I'm waiting. I'm waiting with bated breath. They're somewhere within transit, I think. I pulled the trigger back in April, May, whenever it was, and I got that soft cover edition of the Andrew Sandoval Monkey Day by Day book.
I ordered it too.
Which one did you get?
The lowest one. It was
yeah.
Like, look, I love that as much as the next guy, but like it was 75 for the lowest one, and I'm like, right. I understand self-publishing, but it's just like I'm good because I think the other ones didn't. The other ones come with like a picture book or something. I mean, somebody will post those all online.
Something like that. Yeah.
There's been some cool, rare. Yeah, there's been some cool, rare photos that have come out that were never seen before. Like there's this one, it's like a very, very early photo shoot. Like the outfits like they wore in the pilot, but they're standing underneath this roof that I'll send you the picture on Instagram sometime, Paul. But like there's a lot of cool, what I'm getting at is there's a lot of cool pictures that I'd never seen before that are coming out with this book release.
I'm looking forward to this, to tell you the truth. I sent a message to Andrew when he talked that he was going to do this. And I simply said to him, I'm glad you decided to do this. I know this is a labor of love. And I told him the truth. I said, when I get this in my hands, I will be doing a review episode on this, and I'm going to send him the video. I never got a damn response from Andrew, but I'm hoping it's just because Andrew has been busy since then, you know. But yeah, I mean, I got to say hi to him briefly in that 13 tour.
Okay.
I got to see him because I'm the nerd. I went around where the buses were, thinking that I'd be able to. I'm like, I mean, I wasn't being too pathetic, but I was like, no. So I saw him for 2 seconds. Saw Mike's daughter, Jessica. She was nice. And then Christian was one of the touring. And I got to talk to him for 2 seconds, and he signed my my friend's tour book because I bought her a tour book. So cool. Yeah. But Andrew seemed nice. He just was like this, though. He's like, go. You doing all right, Tim?
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm just listening. Okay.
Well, I just feel bad because once again, we're controlling with the monkey conversation, and I can't.
No, I'm a Monkeys fan, but I don't know a third of what you guys know. So,
Tim, thank you. By the way, I did get to play that 50th anniversary, the Friday thing. Yeah, I liked it. I liked it because I've never heard it before. I mean, I don't even have the CD of it, and I thought that was neat. But I'll also tell you that if I ever can come across it, which I don't think I ever will, you know how Rhino used to do those handmade editions that are like this now? I would like to get see, even he's nodding his head down here. The complete 67 with the Alabama tapes and a bunch of other things. I would so love to find that, along with I wish Rhino would go off and I know that I've heard a very high res music file on this, and it sounds damn good, like you're in the room. So if they can do a high res music file on the Japan 68 show,
oh, dude,
I have a high res on that. Somebody sent me.
Here's my only hang up about that. We're talking about the Monkeys live in Japan, right?
October 68, yes.
Yeah. So that's the one from that radio broadcast, though, right?
Because I know they did it for radio and they did television, but nobody could find the damn tapes.
Because there's one I heard where each of the tracks has some Japanese lady talking at the beginning of each of them. Maybe I was listening to a different bootleg, but
I know what you're talking about.
I always thought that was the hang up. Maybe I'm thinking of something else. It's fine.
I have to re-listen to the whole files again. I don't recall her doing it all the time. I think I just remember her being in the beginning in this in the high res thing. I won't mention who gave it to me, but I was very grateful that he did. I didn't even ask for it, and I was like, "Holy shit!" And I'm like, and I loved it. The whole concert was like, I'm like, why is this thing not put out? I said, and I mean, we're talking. It had, because obviously all the other stuff has been the first 3 albums, right? Well, with this late 68, you had stuff from Pisces. You had a little bit of Birds, Bees, and Monkeys on there too in the set list, along with some other surprises. And I'm just like, shit, this thing needs to come out.
Oh yeah, the version of Salesman on that's really good.
Man.
Jumping around to live monkey stuff. You know what I'd love to have, and it's never going to be a thing because there's not enough interest in it. But probably 7A would be the one who would have to do it. But I would love to have a Monkeys Live at the Billboard 96 from like the Just Us era. Because I've seen the video of that, and it's just the audio is really, really distorted. But like if they had a clean tape of that, that would be awesome. The Just Us album is really underrated. It sounds like the Monkees trying to be a grunge band at times, but it's really cool. And I would love that, but I'm sure I'm like one of 10 people. Paul, you're one of the other 10 people who would actually be interested in that.
I want that along with the 97 Born. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. I want that attached to the 97 Bournemouth show from the UK. That's on YouTube. Oh, and they're in the blue frilly. The whole show was damn good. And it's all 4 of them and 97. And I'm going, so both of that needs to get slapped together and put on a release. I would love to hear that. Yeah, look on YouTube. The whole show, the whole Bournemouth. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. For just type in Monkeys 97 UK Bournemouth, I think it is, or whatever, and it'll come up. At least it did a few weeks ago because I went and watched it again.
That's I love that about how people just upload random stuff to YouTube. Like I found a thing month ago of like somebody had live tapes of a Rob's concert. I have never heard anything Rob's live ever.
Wait a minute, a Rob's concert?
Yeah, I'll link it to you. Remind me.
Holy shit! Okay,
it's an audience tape. So it's not great, but still, I mean, it was cool to hear some of that stuff live. I mean, the studio tamed them a little bit, and I don't want to like, put it up too high, but you know what I mean? Right. Like, that was really cool. I couldn't believe that.
I've got some Rob's 45s, but I don't have that album on Mercury.
I've got all of it, man. They should have been much bigger than they were. They were really good.
Yeah, I like their stuff. I'm a sucker for obviously because I was born in Chicagoland, but I liked all the 60s stuff that came. And it was like radio mixed with my record collecting friends. I mean, like I said, for me, I remember Buckingham's American Breed, New Colony 6 were like some of my first ones I got snagged onto.
Oh, the American Breed.
And then I'm starting to try to find more as I'm going along. And then, like I said, found out about the Robs, which even though, you might as well just call them Illinois. But if I remember correctly, I think it's Manawak, Wisconsin. But who gives a shit?
Manawak. They were
the Mods, Robs. That Mods album. Oh shit. That's a good album. But all the other little stuff. And there's certain labels, like most of the stuff that came out on USA, for 45s was local. The last thing that I picked up, I wish I had all this stuff because I know how everybody likes 45s in this group. I found a Michael and the Messengers on USA back when I went to that record store and dug through the whole entire wall. And I'm going, holy shit, I have no, because most of the time, if I'm finding anything USA, it's Buckingham's, right? Which I found a goofy Buckingham's. It says Buckingham's, but there's a comma before the S. And I'm going, wait a minute. That's got to be a true first press because they changed it. And so I found that. I found some Crying Shames. There's another one for you.
God, yeah, that too.
On Destination. I'm pulling shit. And I'm going, I never thought I'd find this stuff. And I've been collecting for 40 years. And I'm just going boom, 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 boom. I probably still missed out on some shit. I ended up getting a stack, I'm not kidding you, about this high. And there was even some Beatles stuff and stuff that I'm like, never seen this shit before. So I went to the owner and I'm like, I had a 20 and I just palmed him the 20 and walked out. And that's what I did for 4 more trips. I'm going and I'm like, hey, nice to, and I'd shake his hand. The 20 would be in there and out I went. But I got anything Chicago related bands, even the smallest fucking band. My want list is going to hit the damn floor. Anybody that's big garage rock fans, okay, from late 60s. I didn't even know about this. It took a guy by the name of Glenn Barton. Really full of information. I'm on Facebook with him. He does a radio show too at times. And McHenry, Illinois, where I went to high school. And, this was in the late 60s, though. They cut 245s called the Lemon Drops.
Yeah, I know the Lemon Drops. I live in the springtime.
Garage rock. From McHenry, Illinois. And I'm going, how come I've never come across one of these 45s? Never have I found one in that area in Northwest Illinois. Not one. So see, Lemon Drops. See, I knew you'd get in the game, Tim. I knew you would.
Yeah. I have a Michael and the Messengers on USA too.
Yeah. And one of those guys ended up Grassroots. He ended up in the Grassroots in the early 70s. Which was in that band. He ended up in Badfinger too in the 80s.
Are we talking about Reed? Are we talking about Reed Kaling?
That's it. Thank you, Reed Kaling.
So that's the Hardy Boys too.
Very good. Very good. Oh, you get extra points today.
Wait. Hold on. Okay, now that I'm thinking about this, we're talking about the Destinations then, right? Because that was his first group. Hello Girl, that 45? Yeah, I have that.
Yeah.
That's a really catchy song. Hello Girl. Yeah. It's like a Beatles. Yeah.
But so that Michael and the Messengers, when I found that, I'm like, holy shit. And then you were talking Hardy Boys, and I found and I didn't even know about I knew about the cartoon, but I didn't know about the musicians behind it. Okay.
Yeah.
And that it was a Dunwich production, which anything Dunwich, you got, for you Chicago people, you got to grab that shit too. Anything that's on that label. So, and of course, I feel like I committed a sin because we can't forget the Shadows of Night. Oh shit! No, can't forget Shadows. I love that. And in 2020. Jimmy Sones and Jerry McGeorge got back together to do a song called Wild Man. Look it up on YouTube. It's a cool tune. Nice garagey feeling. So the thing is that as soon as I saw it, it even has I think it's on the back covers of those I have both Hardy Boy albums because I went to an antique mall here in town. Minty just got cutout hole. That's it though. Okay. $5 each. I went, whoop. And I got those. Like, there's some pleasant stuff on those records. And but yeah, it says a Dunwich production. I'm like, well, shit. Now I know we got Bill Trupp and everybody involved. Hardy Boys. Go figure.
It's funny because like every show, every kids show, cartoon had a band, but some of those albums are actually pretty decent.
Yep.
All right, I got to say something to somebody here. Come on, you were up here. So Vinyl Wrestling loves his Nuggets box set. I need that Nuggets box set. I love you too, God Angel. I will talk to you in the morning. Yes, I will, my sweetheart. She has all kinds of weird shifts at her work. And
I
yes,
have all
Hardy Boys
three
is a
Nuggets
cartoon.
box sets. They're
Huh?
essential. I have all three Nuggets box sets.
You
They're
know,
essential.
I'm not gonna lie, I've never come across them at a. I've seen the first one. I haven't seen the other two, and I know there's Pebbles and stuff like that. Now I've come across a couple Pebbles volumes, but they're always so expensive, and I'm going, I can't. I'd even get them in CD if I could just get them in CD.
The
It's better
Nuggets
than nothing.
Nuggets only came out on CD, except the Rhino, ones in the 80s. That was never a set. That was just, I don't know how many they did. 12, 15.
What did there was the I Feel Good, I Feel Bad, Lewis and Clark Expedition was on one of those.
Yeah, that's the first one.
First one? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's another record if you don't have, you should get. It's good.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't have anything. Hang on a second.
Nice.
First one.
Oh, hang on a second. I'll make you big because everybody needs to see this.
First one, essential listening.
Yes.
Disc 1 is the album, the original Lenny K album, and the next 3 discs are just great stuff that should have been on it, maybe. This is the British one. This might be even more essential than the other one, just because you need to know this stuff. This is amazing. The British version, a lot of like pop psych on here, a lot of just cool British garage, amazing stuff. The Creations on here, bands like that.
Okay.
And then the third one is the revival, basically, the garage rock revival from the late 80s to the early 90s.
Oh, okay.
Mid 80s to the early 90s.
This is why
very good.
I wish that, and everybody out here, I wish I was maybe 10 years older than what I am, because I would have been able to grasp this stuff, I think, a lot more, because that's the one thing about our little hobby. We're always learning stuff. It never ends. And I don't mind one bit. I will never say I'm a know-it-all. I like to know things. And see, it's stuff like what you bring to the table, what everybody else brings to the table. And my never-ending want list probably goes right from here, out of the house, down the street, round the block. It's never going to end. Well, I want those Nugget sets, but I have never found them at, in my opinion, a reasonable price. They've always been jacked, and I'm just going, I can't. Maybe someday. Maybe I'll just have to do them one at a time when they came out. Yeah.
See, that's the problem with those kind of like, I don't know about that specifically, but like box sets and limited releases, if you don't know about them when they come out and you find out about them later, you're out of luck.
Yeah. Well, that's these days more than ever, especially when you're talking vinyl. These days, something comes out, grab it, because
especially like
everything is a limited edition.
I was about to say, like, I've got a lot of things that are like limited. Like a lot of my Monkeys things are limited. Like I got, selections from the headquarters sessions. There was only like 2,500 of those. I have an Arthur Lee and Black Beauty album by Love, and I think they only did like 1,000 or 5,000 copies of that. I ordered it right when they announced it, because that was like an album that was in the vaults forever, and they put it out in 2013. That's a good one, but I mean,
I would have loved that. I do like Love.
It's all you can listen to it. It's on YouTube. They might High Moon probably still has copies left of it, so you can probably get it if you really want it. They reissued the Reel to Reel album too in the last couple of years, so I got that also.
I only have one album. I picked this up for $1. Couldn't believe it. I have the first one, Minty, and it's mono.
Nice.
It was like bookcase full of, and I'm going, and I'm like, nobody saw. I'm like going, and I'm going, please don't let it be beat up. please don't let it be me. I mean, I'm like, I could see myself in this thing. I'm going, oh, you're coming home. That was a great ass record. I played that. That record rocked from beginning to end. And I'm like, and okay, I haven't told too many people this. When Arthur Lee was incarcerated out in Cali,
did talk about this. Yep.
I found. I'm sorry, my mind is not going real good right now. I found out what prison he was in, and I wrote to him. I wrote to Arthur Lee in the 90s, I think it was. And I don't know why. I just wrote. I'm like, I was a simple, polite letter, but I never got jack shit back. Not that I was expecting anything back, but I'm like, I wrote to him when he was in prison. I wrote, and I know Jimmy Sones, if I ever meet him, he'll probably think I'm nuts. I wrote to Jimmy Sones when he was in prison in the 80s for Shadows of Night. He was down in Joliet. I wrote to him, and I'm just like, and everybody like, at that time, he's like, what's this idiot 15, 16-year-old kid writing me while I'm in prison? And I'm like, because you're in prison, and, you know, I loved your work. I loved your work. I was a nerd. I was stupid. How can you say?
Did you ever get that Arthur Lee biography? I think it was they just called it Forever Changes. It was like authorized by the Lee estate. Because he was starting to, it was really cool because he was starting to write an autobiography that he never finished. So they incorporated parts of that in with like a biography writer. Yeah, that was really cool. There's a lot of interesting insights in there that I didn't know about. Like, well, you'll know it if you read it, but there's some songs that I thought meant something, and then the book told me that it meant something completely different. There's a really chill song on For Sale called Your Friend and Mine, Neil's song. And like, I'm not a lyrics person, so I don't know what I thought it meant. But then I read the book and it's just like, oh, Neil overdosed on heroin. That's nice. It kind of ruined the song for me. Like, that's really grim. And it's an upbeat tune. So like, that's not where my mind was, you know?
Right.
But that's the cool thing about Love is that every single record, except for 2 of them, are totally different. They all had different lineups and stuff. For Sale and Out Here were all taken from the same session, so they're like the same. But like the rest of them are like, each of them are unique in their own way.
Yeah, like I would. I'll need to look for that book. That'd be interesting. What is it? I know Johnny Eccles. I think he's the only one left. And I think
of the originals, I think so.
Yeah,
I think the drummer might,
or he did.
He's the only one that's touring, but the drummer might still be alive. I think they called him Snoopy. I don't know if he's dead or not.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure if I didn't know he was alive. I would have loved to have seen just even Arthur Lee, and it's just too bad. I don't think he came anywhere near me because I would have dug it. I just would have. That's all.
I was 10 or 11 when he died, so I had no idea who that was. So that was a bit before my time.
So yeah. So I was a nerd. I think I might have brought this story up before, and if I have, forgive me.
Okay.
Like talking about how you were young, you know, right? So we used to have this club. It was called Fitzgerald's out near Berwyn, Illinois. Still around, I think, actually. And in 82, I found out Badfinger was going to be performing. In 82, okay?
So
you're talking...
Was this the Joey or the Tom?
Tom. So you're talking Tom, Bob Jackson, Mike Gibbons, and Tony Kaye. Because he didn't go to Yes yet. He was getting ready to. He was getting ready to jump over there, but he wasn't there yet. And, of course, I didn't know Tony Kaye was over there at the time. I knew the rest of them, but I didn't know Tony was there because I would have been like, oh, shit, grab my Yes albums. But I digress. So I tortured my grandma. I go, Grandma, can you take me to a club? You're too young. No. You don't understand, Grandma. I want to see if I can get in to see Badfinger, Grandma. She's like, Badfinger? What the? It's a cool 70s band, Grandma. Look, they're doing a tour. And they're here in this paper. And it was like, she took me out there. She took me out. I'm going, yes.
It was a 21 and up, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. I couldn't even go backstage. I tried that begging. Nope. I didn't even see anybody from the band. I would have just been happy to go if I could have remembered to recognize them. I would have probably only recognized Tom or Mike, but I would have been like, but that didn't happen. A couple weeks later, I tried. Would you believe I tried the same trick for Ginger Baker's Air Force? He did put the name back out again, and I'm like, Ginger Baker, and Grandma just threw her. I go, I'll buy you dinner. That's what I told her because I started making money by then. I'm like, I'll buy you dinner, Grandma, and put some gas in the tank. That was the last time when they told me no for Ginger Baker. How rude. And I was a little older. I was 16 then. And I'm like, how rude, bastards. Well, then after reading that book, how was I supposed to know they were at Milwaukee Summerfest in summer of 82? I would have went. It was all ages. Bastards.
I saw Badfinger with Bob Jackson and Tony Kaye, but they had a different drummer. It was not Mike Gibbons when I saw him.
Yeah.
And I think they had one other guy, and I don't know who he was.
It would have been interesting.
I've forgotten more than I'll ever know. So I can't tell you. It was a month before Tommy died. But so if you know when Tommy died, I've forgotten now. It was
November
less
83.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, it was less than
November
30 days. And I got his autograph. I showed up wearing a Badfinger hat. And the guy threw it on stage. It pissed me off. But then Tommy picked it up and wore it for a couple of songs, then threw it backstage, and I made my friend go get it. And then I had him sign it. Then I had Tommy and Bob signed it.
Nice.
And I don't know where it is. Damn. I have it somewhere.
That's awesome, man.
The only other Badfinger story I have, and unfortunately this has nothing to do with me, but so this is like about 1988 roughly, and so here I live in Rogers, Arkansas, Bentonville, Arkansas area, and Rogers had a big ass airport, but it also had a lot of empty fields and shit. So for some reason there was a concert. Like I said, this is 88 we're talking about, and it was Badfinger was the opener, Foghat was the headliner. So just imagine summer fall of 88. The lineup at that time for Badfinger, it was Joey and Mike with a few other people by then. They actually put on a decent show, according to my friend and a couple other hangers-on. There was close to 1,000 people, supposedly, according to my buddy Tom. And that's not what caused the riot. Badfinger didn't cause the riot. Badfinger did their set and got off to a nice reception. Foghat comes on. So you're talking, if you know Foghat at all, you're talking Lonesome Dave and Roger Earl. So it's that version of the band, okay? Along with whoever else they had straggling along. And somehow, even in 88, they were using backing tapes. They got caught. And Lonesome Dave said in the mic, fuck it. You're not even worth me giving the full show to. And they ran to the bus. And they started rocking the bus. A slow ride it was not for Foghat. Ladies and gentlemen, that day, you're not even worth a full... Oh, fuck no. If I was there, I would have been... There. Let's see. Stephen Schnee says, I saw Badfinger at the Roxy in LA. Oh, I know about those gigs. I am jealous. It was the Joey, Tommy, Tony K lineup promoting Airwaves. I liked Airwaves, damn it. And the thing was, I don't know if you guys will agree with me on this. If I remember correctly, the original choice was Roy Thomas Baker to produce that album. And instead, they got David Malloy, who was more known for producing country records for Elektra label. They said that was probably 50% of the problem right there. And I cannot remember why Roy Thomas Baker did not get to do that album.
See, I don't think it's been a while since I've played it, right? I don't think the production is the problem. It's just, there's not many songs on that album that really struck me as interesting in comparison to the other stuff. Like Lookout California, I really like. Lost Inside Your Love, I really like. There's a really cool, there's a YouTube video of Tom's demo, if you ever get a chance. He's like, I just came up with this last night, and he plays it. It's actually really cool, but those are the only two songs on that record that really stuck out to me that I remember. I mean, I'll be honest.
It Last was good. That was a single.
Yep.
Sure it is. Again, like I said, I'm being fair. I haven't played it.
Side 1 I thought was great. Side 2 took a big downhill slide. And the album came in at like 28 or 29 minutes. That was the other problem. It wasn't even a half an hour.
It's such a drag when albums do that. Not to derail too much, but it's like the first side is straight fire, and then the B side is just boring. Like, I don't know if any of you guys have ever heard of a band called The Stems before. They're like power pop garage rock from Australia.
Yep.
And like their first album, the first side is just kick ass, start to finish, and then you go to the B side, and the first track's okay, and the rest of it's kind of a snooze fest. It's just like, I want to tell people how god tier this record is, but like 75%, I mean, a quarter of it's pretty boring.
Yeah, I mean, if you got that, they should just mix them up.
Yes.
Put a couple of the rap songs on side 1.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. Okay, Airwaves, I ended up finding in a CD. It was the... does anybody know who Ray Paul is?
No.
Out there? Okay. Ray Paul owned a label called Permanent Press. Put out a bunch of different pop albums and stuff like that in the 90s and O's and such. And he got a hold of Airwaves. And they had one legit CD release. And it came with a second CD. There was more. There was 5 more tracks made for that album, and if I remember correctly, 3 of those 5, Joey and Tom are on them, and Joe Chanson was the one that brought the tapes and got them put on that CD. There you go, Ray Paul and RPM. That's right, Steven. That's right. And so I got that sucker. I communicated with Ray actually because I can't remember. It had to do with Facebook. And he actually originally said that, unfortunately, Paul, it went out of print. I don't have any copies. I wish I did. I believe it or not, a few weeks later, because he had to move some stuff around or he was just doing some type of moving, he discovered a handful of copies down in the basement in a box. And I'm like, I'll buy one, please. And the bonus tracks, I want to say 2 or 3 of those 5 tracks were actually really good, in my opinion. Why they didn't, they could have replaced maybe a track or 2 off of that Airwaves album, and it maybe would have been a little bit better. But the one story that I heard is that for Say No More in 81, okay, on radio, which Radio Records, even though they were Atlantic subsidiary, there you go. See, that's it. There you go. Thank you. There you go. I love visuals. Yeah, that there you go. That's it. Okay. Am I right? Is it 2 CDs or it's just
no? It's one CD.
All right.
There's no way this would need to be 2 CDs. It's probably not 40 minutes as it is.
Yeah, there you go. This is decaf. That's my defense. So the thing is that when oh yeah, there you go. Thank you. When Say No More came out in '81 on radio, there is Steven says on the bonus tracks, none of them are Airways related. They're vaguely Badfinger related. Well, I apologize. I could have sworn like at least 1 or 2 of them were from that, but maybe I'm wrong. I'm tired, guys. This is my first broadcast. Cut me some slack. Anyway, so Radio Records was based out of Miami. All right. And I guess even though they had that attachment with Atlantic Records, the distribution deal or something, Stars on 45, that was their big damn thing on that label. That's what made the money. Well, supposedly, I am led to believe, and I'm only going off of memory, it was either the IRS or the mob or some bullshit went down and Radio Records closed up like that. And supposedly, the master tapes went poof. Nobody knows where the hell the master tapes are at. And I know somebody, I think, tried to do a CD of that album, and it's a vinyl rip. So no master tapes for Say No More. And I actually enjoy that album. It's just too bad. And I mean, the story went, I guess, if I remember from the Day After Day book, that Joey came in with some tunes for the second album because they were supposed to do 2 albums for Radio Records. And because they did not have a complete album, they couldn't get the second money or something like that. I'm probably all sketched right now. And it was that combined with they closed immediately. Like within 2 weeks, they were shuttered. So for us to even get vinyl copies of that album are not that easy.
Yeah,
although,
which is weird because I think, wasn't Hold On was a minor hit for them, right? It was.
Yes. I think it's like top 60.
51, if I remember correct.
Oh, did it make it that high? Okay.
They were on Solid Gold. I remember that.
Yeah, I saw that when I'm like, Badfinger's on Solid Gold? I remember watching that. I liked it, but I'm like, wow. But you know what's funny is that like Airways was a lot easier to find than Say No More. Well, I say that,
this
and I've come across some shit ton of copies since then.
6 months maybe.
Yeah.
And Love Can't Hide, Joey sings lead on. Everything else, the other bonus tracks, no. But Joey does sing on one of them.
It's funny because that's like anything else. I'll be looking for something for ages, and then once I have it, I see it everywhere. Like when I first started collecting records, one of the big things on my list was to get a copy of the Notorious Bird Brothers, and I could not find that anywhere. And then I finally bought a new copy, and suddenly, everywhere I went had copies of it. So. Yeah.
We welcome someone else.
Greetings, gentlemen. Can you hear me out of this microphone?
Yeah, you sound great.
Some little tidbits about Badfinger. Nice to see you, gentlemen. Of course, you know, like I said, I went and saw them at the Roxy. I remember the guy that was sitting at the table with us had a pocket full of joints, and when I was at the tables right up front stage. I mean, we're talking like there was one person between me and the stage. And the guy had a pocket full of joints, and Joey came and was doing a guitar solo, and the guy sort of pulled the joints out of his pocket, and Joey's just like nodding at him or whatever, because they're going to go back and smoke weed. But I was only 16 years old, so I couldn't, you know, I had never done that. Anyway, I went and saw Badfinger again in 82. It was after Say No More, which I love. In fact, I wrote in the comments, Say No More is my third favorite Badfinger album after Wish You Were Here and Straight Up.
Uh-oh.
You're muted, Steven.
Yeah, I didn't mute you.
Here we go again.
I don't have power of muting. I don't do this shit.
I know, you're good.
There's something about that square right there.
It's an evil square. I feel bad because he was going on a good story here. I think he figured out he's saying, wait a minute. I think.
Yeah, no, he is.
Since we're talking about like underrated Badfinger albums, honestly, I think the Magic Christian might be the most underrated one. That's probably my favorite. Not enough people talk about that one.
That was my first one. 10 cents at a garage sale, and it was beat up. But I was like, you're coming home with me anyway. I don't give a shit. You're my first Badfinger. And
I bought it on 8-track. It was the first piece of music, adult music I ever bought in my life. I budget bin on 8-track.
I got most of the other ones before the one I ended up getting was because the first time I saw it, it's like a boot. My copy's like a bootleg from Taiwan. It's like the sleeve is like super thin. Yeah, you know what? I'll grab it.
Those Taiwan stuff are hilarious. I actually have never owned any of the Taiwan records, but I've seen them. I've had them in my hands. Beatles and Stones.
I own some.
Yeah. It's like paper thin.
I love those things. They're cool.
Here, hang on.
Okay. It's just like paper thin.
Yeah.
It's on like. Yeah, it's like kind of.
Yeah, it's usually on a label like that.
Okay, can you hear me again?
There, you're back.
Yes, yes, we were worried about you.
No, I have this little thing here that I control all my different USBs on it, and it looks like it's fizzling out, so my mic went out. But anyway, after Say No More had come out. I remember the day Say No More came out. Me, my brother, and my friend Vic went to Tower Records, and all of us bought a copy of it. And that's probably the most Tower Records ever sold of that album. But the following year, Badfinger was playing Magic Mountain, and which is a theme park out here, later bought by Six Flags, and we're out Southern California. Anyway, it was interesting because they were advertising. It was Badfinger, of course, and so we were excited. But then we got there, and the Badfinger at that point was Joey Molland, Joe Tansen, who had played on Airwaves, and then Bobby Dean Wickland and Larry Lee from the LA Power Pop band. Yeah, that's Joe Tansen right there. From the LA Power Pop band, the Scooters. So we had no idea what happened with Tommy. Because at this point, Tommy was touring his part of Badfinger. And you didn't read this stuff. You didn't have the internet, so you didn't really know this shit was happening. Yeah. So we were kind of disappointed or whatever. And Joey was wearing a Hawaiian shirt and was very unrock and roll. He just looked like your neighbor or whatever. But I remember talking to Kathy Molland, and ironically, this was about 3 years after that Roxy gig, and their assistant or roadie or something was that guy who had the pocket full of weed. So we were talking to him, and Kathy Molland and that guy was telling us that when it came to make Say No More, Radio Records had asked for a rock and roll album, and Tommy just came with a bunch of ballads, and so Joey had to actually go rock everything up. So all those songs that Tommy had for the album were essentially ballads that are just beefed up. Now, I'm living in Too Hung Up on You still sounds kind of ballady, but it's a very rough, powerful ballad. And Come On was probably just something they added because that was another Tommy song. But it was just interesting to hear all this stuff, and then I was kind of excited about this lineup of Badfinger because I was a really big fan of the Scooters, and they had put out 2 albums on EMI. And those albums were produced by Phil Wainman, the same guy who produced Bay City Rollers and a lot of other stuff. So it was very power poppy. And so it was great to see the band with those 2 guys, but it was just really weird to and they did obviously some Tommy songs and some Pete songs, and Joey just jokingly referred to Larry Lee, who was the bass player, as Tommy's brother Larry. And Larry Lee did have kind of that high voice, kind of like a Tommy Evans or whatever. So it was just very interesting to deal with, and to actually be talking. Kathy, after the first set, because at Magic Mountain the band came out. They didn't have an opening act. They came out. They did a song, a set, and then an hour later they went out and they did another set. And between sets, Kathy was crying. Kathy Mullen, because Tommy's lawyer was there, and the first show was kind of raggle taggle. It sounded like it was the first time these guys ever played together, and so I guess they were all freaking out because they thought that Tommy was going to sue him, and Tommy might get the rights to the band name. But if you really think about it, Tommy should have had the rights to the band name because it was Tommy and Mike touring. They were original members before Joey even joined. Joey had left the band anyway, and then they had Bob Jackson, who was Joey's replacement in Badfinger. Because, well, actually, Bob Jackson was Pete's replacement because Pete had left. Bob Jackson came in, then Pete came back, and Joey left. So Bob Jackson was briefly a member of Badfinger, but at the same time, now Bob Jackson plays live in England as Badfinger, which I don't think is legit.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I saw them, they were on very kind of rough times. They claimed, and nobody believed it, that their instruments didn't arrive with them. So the show got held up while they went and found a keyboard and I think an extra amp or 2 so they could even go on stage. I don't think they had a keyboard with them when they were touring. I just think they were borrowing instruments. It was that bad.
Yeah, from I think what that book said is that they didn't take any instruments. Yeah, I think it was just borrowing instruments from town to town. I mean, Tommy may have had his bass or whatever, but it sucked.
No, I think they had their own guitars, but that was about it. And the band, I can't remember their name, but the band that opened for them, they were called the Bees. Now, I'd never heard of the Bees, but the Bees, before they were the Bees, were called the Boys, Buoys. These were the guys that did Timothy, that opened for Badfinger.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. That's I didn't know they lasted that long because I know the 2 guys they went off and they did a thing called the Jerry Kelly Group, and then they became a group called Dakota. I didn't know the other guys did stuff. That's cool.
Yeah, I don't know. As far as I could tell, it was at least the lead singer because they did do Timothy.
Well, you got to have the right pipes to do that.
Huh.
Yeah, and what else they did, I couldn't tell
for
you.
2 seconds.
We didn't know this. They told that story before they did Timothy, and other than that, they were just the Bees.
As much as I love Joey, I have all the Joey solo albums. I thought I interviewed him last year on my podcast, my video podcast. And it was just awesome to be able to talk to freaking Joey Mullen from Badfinger. I would have much rather have seen the Tommy version of Badfinger. Because I've always been a bigger Tommy fan, I think, than a Joey fan. And I was a big fan of the Dodgers. Did you guys get into the Dodgers at all?
Thank you. Good band. I saw a UK TV performance of Down, and I love that damn song. I'm like, why didn't this get recorded? It was beautiful.
No,
I mean, I'm not kidding you. I was tearing up when
It was recorded. The first 2 Dodger singles were on Island Records, and they had Tommy in the band at the time.
Right. I think I've heard about this. And then they dubbed him out later after he left the group. They kicked him out, right?
Yeah, and then they went to that new label, Polydor. But that album was great. It's called Love on the Rebound, and it's just a great album. You can probably find it for $0.25 in any bin. But I've gone to Cherry Red Records and a couple other labels and just said, both those labels now are under the Universal umbrella. So you could feasibly put out the Love on the Rebound album, then add the 2 singles with Tommy. And it's going to not only appeal to Power Pop fans, but it's going to appeal to Badfinger fans, because they are a very, very Badfinger sounding band. If you haven't heard them already, fantastic. But yeah, the 2 singles, Down was, I don't remember if that was the A side or B side, but 2 of the 4 songs on those singles were re-recorded for the album. The other 2, I believe, are just on those singles. And Down is one of those songs.
I love that song.
Yeah, that's great. So, but yeah, that's it. I for one, am not particularly a big fan of Head First, although it's got some great songs on it. I think that's as we all said, that's a rushed album. That's hey, we got to, we got to get this out before they pull the plug on us. But then again, the only version I've heard is the version that is basically taking off monitor tapes. It's all rough mixes, so it makes you think, would we look at it a bit differently if it got properly produced, mixed, and everything? Because I remember, God, it's been a number of years now. But like 2014, this is right when I graduated high school. What's his name? Dan something. He released like remixed versions on his YouTube channel of Lay Me Down and Passed Fast. And I thought, oh man, they're going to do it. They're going to finally properly produce this. And then nothing came of it. You mean Dan Matavino?
Yeah, that's what it was. I couldn't remember his last name.
Yeah, the guy that wrote the book.
Yeah.
Interesting thing about now, first off, that those Wish You Were Here remixes and stuff that were on the reissue of Wish You Were Here from 2 years ago, whatever, man, to hear that song "Gotta Get Out of Here" with these, "Gotta Get Out of Here" with these Sgt. Pepper like horns during the instrumental break is stunning. It's just amazing, because now, Slider, what is your first name?
Tyler.
Okay, Tyler. Have you heard that "Wish You Were Here" CD?
No, I have the original LP, and I haven't looked into it now.
Yeah, because the CD, there's the book there. I actually know Dan Matavina. My friend Jim, he asked my friend Jim to do the layout for the book, and Jim just said no because it would have been months of work with no pay. So then, but anyway, the "Wish You Were Here," the CD, Tim.
Mm-hmm.
Wish You Were Here. Tim, Wish You Were Here CD. Show it to everybody.
Oh, I'm sorry. I buried it. It's buried. Hang on.
Jeez, okay. Man. He just had it.
I've been prop comicking and there you go.
Okay. Now see, it's the full album. It's the full album, and then it's got early monitor mixes. Or early like alternate mixes of most of the album, and it's got an unreleased track which isn't really that good. But what he did on those tracks is he didn't necessarily just remix the songs. He mixed down some of the elements that you're familiar with and mixed in the things that they mixed out. So, like I said, on "Wish You Were Here," it's got this little horn part in the middle of it that sounds like it's straight off the Sgt. Pepper album.
Wow, I'll have to look into that.
It takes it to a completely different level.
So is that like, are those kind of things? You remember there was that Record Store Day release 2 years ago?
Okay, yes.
Yeah,
those tracks.
that up.
Yes.
All of the extra tracks are on that.
Yes.
It's okay. So I really wanted to get that, but the record store I go to, was it Warner Brothers or whatever, just didn't send them anything that year. The guy was pissed, and rightfully so, and I've never found a copy since then.
Yeah, that would have been
I
a
heard
real
it's
gun
almost
music.
impossible to find.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm out of luck now. I tried to get it back then.
Yeah, but those, but I don't know if you're a CD. I'm a complete CD guy, but that's one of those situations where those bonus tracks, if you can't find them on vinyl, at least maybe. I mean, I hate streaming, but at least maybe go to.
I'm not like a purist. If I want to hear something, I'll hear it. Just because I can't have it. But okay.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, there
nice.
you go.
Oh,
that's amazing.
Hang on, I'm gonna make you big. That's what. Yeah.
Trying to think, because
It's not going to help. But
what even else was out that year? There was the expanded Skip Spence, or I did get that. That was nice. And there was a Sid Vicious. Oh man.
But yeah, do yourself a favor and maybe go on Spotify or whoever and listen to the alternate mixes. Now, I think that what he should have done, I mean, I'm not a label guy, so I mean, he made his choices, but I think he should have kept the mixes at least close to what the original mixes were, and then just mixed in all these other elements. But I guess he just wanted to show people, hey, this is the stuff that they mixed out of it. So you're going to hear shit on all those songs on Wish You Were Here that they mixed out of the final mix. And like I said, it just makes Gotta Get Out of Here. Hearing those horns come in, it's just beautiful. But yeah, I mean, Badfinger is just like one of my favorite bands ever. Like I said, Wish You Were Here, my favorite album of all time. Badfinger at the Rocks. Yeah, there you go. Wish You Were Here, right on. Badfinger at the Roxy. They opened with with a medley of Lookout California and Rock and Roll Contract, which I had never heard at that time, because Rock and Roll Contract was not, the re-recording from Say No More had not come out yet, and we had never heard Head First. Yep. So they did that, and then they started Without You, like the album version. Then they stopped it, and then they go, let's do it like Harry did it. And then Tony Kaye started playing the piano, like the opening of Harry Nilsson's version of it. It was amazing. Wow. So, I think they did 2 shows that night. If you see pictures of those shows, I was at the show where he had the long sleeve button down, or Tommy had the long sleeve button down red shirt and a vest. I've seen pictures from the second set where he just had a t-shirt on or whatever, but he was this is before I think they got all sweaty and all that kind of stuff. But it was a great show. I mean, I wish I'd seen the original Badfinger, but I was too young to do that. Like I said, I was 6. I'm surprised we even got into the Roxy. I was 16 years old. So
you got very lucky, friend.
Yes.
See,
absolutely.
Here's a page. Hang on.
Yeah. See, I bet you.
There's a picture from the Roxy.
Yeah. In fact, I shook Tommy Evans's hand. See the picture on the bottom right? Yes. See that picture of Tony Kaye and then Tommy Evans to the right? The one that's kind of there in the center. You see Tommy with the red, it's a black and white, but the red shirt and the vest. Tommy there was going around and shaking everybody's hand as they were leaving the stage, and I got to shake Tommy Evans' hand.
Wow. Wow.
So
Nice.
In fact, I'm the guy who took those pictures is probably sitting right next to me. That's probably taken from that weed guy. I call him the weed guy.
That's what he'll be in my head now, Stephen. I'm glad I am so glad you came on here and you're telling us all this stuff. See, this is what I like when people have all these experiences. I envy you about that Roxy gig. Damn it! I would have loved to have been to
In fact, I can even tell you who opened it. John Batdorf, singer-songwriter. He was from the duo Batdorf and Rodney, and they put out 2 albums.
Yeah, okay. Huh.
And I just remember being bored through his entire set. I would probably enjoy it now. But back there, being 16 years old and waiting for Badfinger to come on, I just could care less about John Batdorf. But we were so young that my parents, we lived in Orange County, so my parents drove the 45 minutes or an hour to drop us off to see Badfinger, and then they went out to dinner, and then they came back to get us. And that tells me that we had cool fucking parents to drive us to LA to see Badfinger. But yeah, I mean, I don't have tons of great stories like that, but sometimes you don't know how lucky you are until you realize that there's people sitting around that would have loved to have seen Badfinger at the Roxy, or Badfinger at the Roxy in 1979. To me, it was just a wonderful, wonderful time, and you don't think about hey, I'm experiencing something. My favorite show of all time is probably something you guys would never even want to go to, and that's Status Quo at the House of Blues in Anaheim in 2004. My favorite show of all time. And I've seen The Jam, I've seen Badfinger, I've seen Split Ends, I've seen Squeeze, I've seen XTC, I've seen Madness numerous times. And Status Quo in 2004 was the greatest live show I've ever seen in my life. And I had nobody there to share it with because my wife at the time had a headache and all my other friends were too busy. So I had an unused ticket. But I stood at the front of that stage and was blown away by that show.
It's funny. That's probably something I should start doing. Is I don't have a lot of friends that would be interested in going to shows and seeing people. I hate to be grim, but time's running out. I should just start going by myself. Really. Yeah.
See, I normally would not do stuff like that. I remember about, this is when I was, married to the same lady. I think she might have been out of town visiting her parents, and I was going to go see the group ABC. Now it's just Martin Fry, and it was just at the Coach House, whatever. And I remember thinking to myself, well, I don't have a ticket, but I know that there's tickets available. And I grabbed the doorknob to leave the place, and I just got anxious and I didn't go. Now I caught them eventually later, but I regretted that because just you never know when those people are going to be around again.
Yeah. One that kills me, and it's a bit of a change of a genre, but television, like Marquee Moon.
Oh yeah,
they were coming to Pittsburgh 2 or 3 years ago, and I was talking to my friend about it because when we were in high school, I found the Marquee Moon album and we knew that thing front to back, and we just didn't go. And because I can never get definitive answers from him about plans. I should have just went by myself because I've seen him once before, but any chance you get to see a group like that, you take it. And I should have, but I didn't.
Well, see, here's something interesting. When I went and saw XTC, I saw them in April of 1981, and it was the Hollywood Palladium, and it was the Black Sea Tour, and I was again right up on the stage because we always tried to get right up on the stage, and I remember Dave Gregory having this big bushy beard, which was really kind of freaky. Anyway, Hazel O'Connor opened. Then Walla Voodoo came out, and then XTC, and in fact it was April 4th, 1981. Incredible live show, absolutely incredible. Like I said, promoting Black Sea, and exactly 1 year later, exactly to the day, April 4th, 1982, they were going to be at the same place, Hollywood Palladium, and that time I had to work or something. There's a reason I couldn't go. So the same people that I went and saw them a year before went to that show. And that's the show that they came out on stage and said, we're sorry, Andy's taken sick and the band's not going to play. And that because that was the night that Andy Partridge had his breakdown. And they never played or they never toured again. So I saw them on their final American tour. Because the next time I would have seen them would have been the canceled show. So yeah, I mean, and then seeing Split Enz a couple times. I mean, these are classic, legendary bands. I saw Crowded House at Yoshiniro's in Hollywood. The first album came out, it had bombed, and they were doing this little acoustic set. And Paul Hester was doing cartwheels in the surrounding garden, and they were all friendly and stuff like that. But the album had bombed, and then a couple of months after that, all of a sudden, "Don't Dream It's Over" became huge, and then now Crowded House is,
I saw him in a movie theater.
Oh, did you?
Around the same time, yeah. A very nice movie theater. I mean, they took, when we bought tickets, me and my friend John went and bought tickets. We're at a party, and we left the party to go get Crowded House tickets, and there was just the guy that ran the theater was there to sell us the tickets, and the theater was closed, but he was there for some reason, and he took us up to the projection room, and they could show 70 millimeter films. He showed us the projector. He showed us all this stuff. He took us down to the stage. It was really cool. We were there like 45 minutes. Bought our tickets that were probably $10,
Yeah.
and off we went. And yeah, that was a great place to see a show, and they were really good. But yeah, you're right. The album was. I worked at a record store then, and Capitol Records gave us so much promo stuff.
Yeah,
and nobody cared. We had 12-inch singles and copies of the album and flats, and
Did you ever get the volcano stickers? I remember getting tons of volcano stickers. But anyway, on the second album, we went and saw them, and Roger McGuinn was opening, and that was when they did the Birdhouse shows. Roger McGuinn came out. And he did 4, 5, 6 songs just on his Rickenbacker on his own. Then the curtains went up, and there was Crowded House, and then they did a couple Bird songs, and those eventually came out as like on an EP or something like that.
Yeah, on an EP called Birdhouse.
Yeah, and that was pretty exciting. But I can't remember. I don't remember if that was at the Beverly Theater or it was one of the fancier theaters. It wasn't at like the Roxy or. It's weird. I've never been to the Whiskey. I've been to the Roxy a few times. I saw friggin' I went and saw Robert Gordon at the Roxy.
Ooh, there you go.
In 1980, and all of Madness were in the audience, and so was Cliff Richard. So I started talking. I couldn't get to Cliff Richard. He was like all the way at the back, surrounded by people or whatever.
Yeah.
But I was talking to the guys from Madness, and their show at the Country Club 2 nights later had been sold out. So I was talking to the sax player, Lee El Kixo Saxo, or El Tomo, whatever nickname he was going by at the time. And he said, he goes, "Are you coming to the show on Sunday?" I said, "No, it's sold out. I couldn't get tickets." And he goes, "Stave +1." And I go, "What?" He goes, "Stave +1." And then he put me on the guest list. So 2 nights later, me and my friend Rick Infelt drove up to Reseda and saw Madness at the Country Club. Fantastic show, and got to meet them all again. And yeah, I'm a huge Madness fan. So
Nice.
love that stuff. So, but I'll get going so you guys can talk about your other stuff, and I won't interrupt you about all this nonsense.
No, you're good, man.
You didn't interrupt us at
really
all.
cool to
I
hear.
love it to hear the story. Love them.
Oh,
I'm glad you took time.
Yeah, see, I just finished work, and you guys were talking about Badfinger, so I thought, I'm going to come and talk about this. Then I'm thinking, well, I can't talk about much because Tyler seems to know every fucking thing. Well, I mean, sorry.
I'm not trying to be a know-it-all, I just
no. Trust me, I know you're not trying to be a know-it-all, but it's just like, well, why do I even have to enter? Because he's saying everything that's in my head anyway, plus more. So, but then I thought, that's right, I can talk about the Roxy show and the Magic Mountain show. So, I've got tons of those things in my head that were so insignificant, but they're buried in my memory. Because once, I bet you guys are like this too, and I'll make this quick. Once you think of one little thing, like if you think of, oh, that's right, I remember buying that Wall of Voodoo 7-inch, then all of a sudden you remember buying that Wall of Voodoo or Wall of Voodoo LP, and then that 12-inch. Then you saw them on MTV, and the time you saw them at US Festival, and then all of a sudden all these things start coming to your head, and you can talk for hours about it. When 30 seconds ago you didn't even think about Wall of Voodoo. Because it's just like once those floodgates open, all of a sudden you're just off. But
and that's sorry, I was gonna say that's the fun of it. Is like one little thing is just like it's an endless spider web out. It's truly great.
It is true.
See, and that's the thing about music, because I listen to all these streams. Like Paul had said earlier, I listen to all these streams to learn. Sure, I know stuff because I've been collecting and buying and reading, writing, researching for decades. But my mind is always open to learn, and I love learning stuff. So when Paul had mentioned that earlier, I thought, yeah, we all know stuff, but the great thing is that we're all open to learning even more. And once you sort of close yourself off and you say, you know what, you stop growing as a music fan if you just stop listening to people talk about stuff.
Right.
Because I learn something every day. Sometimes I learn, oh God, I don't like that person. Or sometimes I learn, wow, I didn't realize that this person played lead on that song, whatever. And I've heard that a million times. I didn't know those were the lyrics or the origin of that song. So I'm always listening, and I'm annoying myself that I listen and pay attention so much. I should have applied myself somewhere else. I might have been more successful, but no, I'm sitting here with the microphone, talking to fellow music geeks, and I'm not getting any younger. I guess it's.
That's what I tell people. Is I wish there was an application for all this knowledge. I'm reading about it and finding things and listening to stuff all the time, but really can't do anything with it. But we're having a good time talking about this, so that's something,
Yeah, and see, because like I have a this is not a promotion, or I'm not promoting myself, but I have a radio show, or a streaming radio show. I don't want to make people think that I'm pretending I'm a DJ, but I have a streaming radio show called This Is Ski Lodge, and it focuses on certain music from basically the mid-'60s to the early '70s, sunshine pop, lounge, surf music, harmony pop, easy listening, stuff like that. And I grew up listening to stuff. I used to, when I'd go into, I heard a lot of this stuff on the radio, because I was born in '63. So my parents would listen to this radio stuff, so I'd hear a lot of it there. And I'd hear a lot of it, or a lot of it at home if my parents had the records. Love and Spoonful, Glenn Campbell, Neil Diamond, Beatles. Then when I was old enough to go record shop, and I'd go in the 29-cent bins, and I'd go, you know what, Andy Williams. I'm going to start buying all the Andy Williams albums. You know what, I'm going to start buying all the Stevie and Edie albums because my parents had a couple of them, and I was buying that stuff while I was buying my punk records and my new wave records. But still, to this day, as much as I've listened to that kind of music, to this day, I'm still discovering new music from 1968. And I'll hear an album by the Gordian Knot, featuring Jim Weatherly, who passed away earlier this year. The Gordian Knot, some of the greatest sunshine pop I've heard, is contained on that album. And I had never heard that. I've only heard of them, only seen the name, only seen the album. But I never actually heard them until 2 years ago. And it's some of my favorite. One of my favorite albums now is by Miss Abrams and the Strawberry Point Fourth Grade Class, an album from 1970, which is just a stunning hippie family melodic melange of wonderfulness that I had never heard until 2 or 3 years ago. But it's a 50-year-old album.
It's that crazy stuff that like nobody's ever heard of. That's like the coolest stuff like that. Like I got this. Well, it was reissued. But I got this album by a guy named Maitreya Kali, and he is the guy who wrote "Salesman" for the Monkees. After he had a group called the Penny Arcade, and after that didn't work out. Long story short, the dude became an acid casualty, right? But like he put out this album, so it was like privately pressed, and it's got like acoustic demos and then random audio bites from like travel logs and then songs from the Penny Arcade. It's just weird and wacky. It's gotten reissued, but it's just I'm with you. It's just the random stuff like that is not popular is often the most interesting.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure all of you, as you were growing up, or even today, when you're talking with the sort of non-music fans or the just casual music fan friends at work or family friends or family members, and you mention that artist, or I'll mention the Collage or Gordian Knot or the Forum or something, and these people will go like, oh, I never heard of that. It's like, yeah, I know. That's unfortunate. You never heard about it. And there's always those people who are going to go, oh, well, they can't be that good if they never got played on the radio.
Exactly.
It's like for every 100 great bands, one of them makes it through.
I know. I hate people that think like that. Or I hate that thinking, let me clarify.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, well, by that logic, the Velvet Underground was a failure. It's just like, come on, man.
Oh,
exactly.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things I try to do on every record store day, it's usually Rhino, but not always. But somebody comes out with a great comp album or two, a 2-record set of whatever it is, and I try to pick those up, every one of them, because I'm going to learn so much from those records.
I mean, imagine what great band we could have experienced instead of Joe Dolce's "Shut Up or You Face," which went to like number 1. I mean, just take Joe Dolce out of there and replace him with Gordian Knot, or replace him with whoever. But we put up with Joe Dolce. It was number 1. So I can tell people, if they say, well, it can't be great if I'd never heard about it. It's like, yeah, but you've heard "Shut Up You Face." And does that mean that Joe Dolce is, right up there with Jethro Tull and Fleetwood Mac? No. Watch Tyler sitting here going, I can't believe he's making fun of my dad, Joe Dolce. Sorry, Tyler.
I don't even know who that is. So
I have his Christmas album.
Yeah, I don't.
Oh no. Oh.
Well, how old are you, Tyler?
25.
Oh no shit. Okay, that's why. Joe Dolce had a hit called "Shut Up You Face" because it was just doing an Italian impression, right? This song was number 1 in England, and it kept Ultravox Vienna from the number 1 spot. And Ultravox Vienna is just one of the greatest synth pop songs of all time. And Joe Dolce, "Shut Up Your Face" kept it from number 1. And Ultravox eventually got honored like 30 or 40 years later with a special award because Joe Dolce kept him out of a number 1 spot.
And it's crazy how those things go, because like the example that comes to my mind is like when Boston came out, they lost New Artist of the Year to somebody, and I can't remember who it was, but they were not relevant ever again after that. Shoot, who was it? But it's that kind of idea. It's just like somebody outstages the person for a moment, but it's just like, yeah, well, your legacy ain't gonna last, brother.
You see, you think about people like I don't know, Tyler, if this is who you're referring to, but I remember Joe Jackson and Elvis Costello lost out to A Taste of Honey, who had a single called "Boogie Oogie Oogie."
That sounds
and "Boogie Oogie Oogie" was A Taste of Honey's only hit. And they sort of they were gone within 2 years. But Joe Jackson and Elvis Costello are still making albums. Yet Boogie Oogie Oogie by Taste of Honey, that helped them to win Best New Artist of the Year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now I'm not going to knock Boogie.
Just like
I'm not a
metal album category.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not going to knock Taste of Honey, Boogie Oogie Oogie, because there's somebody out there who will choose Boogie Oogie Oogie over anything that any of us listen to.
Sure.
And I respect that, and I have no problem with that at all. But when you look at a band's legacy, you look at Costello. I mean, Joe Jackson, Costello, they aren't just making they're still critical successes, and people are still just crazy mad about their releases. And Elvis Costello and Joe Jackson put out better music than Paul McCartney these days. I'd rather listen to Costello 3 than McCartney 3. Oh Lord!
I needed that. I needed that good laugh.
So anyway, gentlemen, you all have a great evening. Nice to meet you, Tyler.
All right.
Tim, grow up. And
Yeah.
Paul, thank you for letting. And Paul, thank you for letting me on, and I appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for coming on. It's always a treat. Yeah,
all right, guys. I'll see you later. Have a good one.
See you, Steven.
Okay, bye-bye.
Take care. And probably in a couple minutes, we're going to wind this down. We have been on 3 hours.
Yeah.
I haven't done a 3 hour.
You said a half an hour when I came on. I'm like, okay, I can do a half an hour.
when we started
here.
When this started, I had my Xbox on. I was playing Destroy All Humans. It's like an alien invasion game. The Xbox has since shut itself off, and the TV has shut itself off.
Tyler's like, damn that Paul. Shit. 3 hours. I could have had this game already won.
It's fine. I honestly that game's not good anyway.
I think my son plays really that. And he's the same age as you. I think he plays that.
Yeah. They just did a remake of the first one. This one I have is the third one. It's notoriously bad, but I've never played it before, so I'm giving it a shot. It takes place in the 70s. The first one takes place in the 50s, and it's hilarious because all the people blame communism for the alien invasion. It's actually really funny.
Oh no.
Yeah, you run around and you blow up a car, and you hear like the police scanner. Possible communist activity detected. Like, look, I hate communists as much as the next guy, but that's a bit much.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Oh, Calvin says A Taste of Honey also had a hit with Sukiyaki.
Yeah,
I sort of remember Sukiyaki.
I remember that. It's the Sukiyaki that. It's that Sukiyaki. They covered it.
Oh, God.
1963 Japanese guy. I forget his name.
At least nobody brought up Pink Lady. Never mind. Anywho, so... Oh, God, Pink Lady. All right, guys. We're going to wind this down. I really had a great time. I didn't expect to be on for 3 hours, but I'm glad. So sure. I thank Tim, Tyler, Steven, here in the studio audience, and Kevin and Lisa, and I don't know who else we had. I started losing people as we were going along. Everybody jumbled. And then, of course, my studio audience here, I see Lisa and Calvin came in, and Harry's Music Room, which I recently subbed to, too. Good channels all the way around. Before we head off, I hope everybody has a great week, but what is your next musical adventures, guys? Tell me what you're doing this week. Anything interesting that you're maybe going to, or a concert or anything?
I think the nearest concert coming up, my dad has tickets for Hot Tuna in December, but that's about it.
Oh.
And I think it's going to be both acoustic and electric, which will be really cool. When we saw the last one, it was just acoustic. So
I envy you. That is going to be a great show. I love Jorma and Jack's work. I do have a handful of tuna albums. I do. Burgers comes to mind, and I picked up. Oh God, I haven't listened to it yet though. It was in the 99-cent bin. It looks like it's like a very trippy little cover, but I think
is it
tops.
Yellow swirls on it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the second one. The first two albums are live albums. That's the second one. They got Papa John. Yeah, they got Papa John Creech on that one. You're gonna like that.
Yeah, if I could find it, I'd show you my signed Jorma book.
Oh yeah.
My dad got
that. My dad got that book too.
Yeah,
he was telling me there was a bit in the book where Jorma really liked Zal Yanofsky's amp setup, and then when he finally got it, he's like, "Hey Zal, I finally got this," and Jorma's like, "Yeah, I mean, I'm whatever." The point was that Zal didn't like it; he thought it was junk, but Jorma thought it was really cool. So that was kind of funny. Yeah. Anyway, I'm rambling.
No, that's all right. You know, that's funny you bring up Zal because if I knew where it was, I was digging through my crates for CDs and shit, and I came across somebody did a bootleg, and I knew it was a bootleg. It was 99 cents. In fact, I bought both of these at the same time. It was at the record store a couple towns down, but this was years ago, like at least 10 years ago. So somebody did like a computer scan of the cover, but I don't give a shit. It was Zal's solo album from 71.
Oh, yeah.
CD. And I'm like, I think it's legit now on CD, but back then it didn't. And I was like, ooh, let's see what this sounds like. So I grabbed that. And what also was in that pile was my only Badfinger bootleg I've ever found was a CD. It was like a very short rectangular picture of the band from looked like 71, 72. And then for the life of me, I could not begin to tell you what was on there. There was a couple outtakes and things from Apple era stuff. And I think there might have been a little bit of like live Agora stuff before. This was dated before the Day After Day Rykodisc came out. So for me, it was a fun little bootleg, you know. And I think maybe some of the Goodfinger demos. Remember when they flipped to Goodfinger?
No, what's that?
No.
Oh, okay. It's briefly mentioned in here because there was some type of a potential lawsuit brewing like everything else, and they ended up. This was in 82, 83, if I remember. If I could get to this point, I would show you. They went and did something under Goodfinger. It was a 4-track demo.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, there's a nice picture from Providence, Rhode Island, 83, one of the last gigs. Jeez, I don't know, damn it. I'm glad I got this. This was the book I was talking about that my buddy let me borrow, and when I went to go give it back to him, he moved. He didn't even bother to ask, hey, can I have my book back? He just went up and moved.
That one might be worth it because that's a hard book to get. I'd demand it back if I were him.
This was, I think, the second edition, and it's
okay.
It's abused, but so what? And I'm glad to have it. But I really wish he would have done an update like a third edition.
Mm-hmm.
1997. That's what it says here.
Yeah, that's about as old as I am.
But one more little story, and then we'll start winding down things. I tried to look for it on YouTube, and I think somebody took it down, which is sad. So, and it's even mentioned in the book. So imagine, if you will, in 82 when they were in Milwaukee. They were in Milwaukee for a couple months, that band. So you're talking the Tom, Mike, Bob. I can't remember if Tony was with them. I think so. So they got a really weird gig. They ended up playing on a horror show called Monster Theater. No, not the Monster Chiller Horror Theater, but this is some Milwaukee thing. The dude looked like an undertaker, and the character's name was Toulouse No Neck. That was the dude's name. That was the host. Badfinger performed in between the movie. So when they'd have the movie break, they'd come back and play. And so imagine 1982 taped maybe off of a VHS. And you just could tell kind of by the looks on their faces, they're like, oh, fuck us. We've gone off and we had it all a decade back. And now we're here playing for Toulouse No Neck on his stupid little Milwaukee horror show. And we're having to do this. And Toulouse interrupted him at least once or twice. I'm like, shut up, you fucker. Let the band play. You little piece of shit. But yeah, he was like, and I'm like, shut up. Yeah, I guess maybe they put it back up. I don't know. But just look up like Badfinger 1982 horror show. Maybe it'll be back up. But I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it because I found out about it in this thing. And I'm typing, I'm wondering, and I'm like, son of a bitch, somebody put it up. One person put it up, and I'm like, oh, there it is.
I don't know how we do it. We got to like start like some kind of archive for that kind of stuff because things like come and go from YouTube, and like, you know, somebody could like put the thing up and then lose the tape, you know. I don't know how we do it, but like form the foundation. I don't know if you read any Asimov, but like
yeah.
The Pete Best Band did a local like horror movie show, Offbeat Cinema from Buffalo. And
I love Offbeat.
I don't know when it was when this came out. To promote this, they're on this little horror show. They did an interview and they played a couple songs.
Wait, they had the Pete Best Band on? Is that what?
Yeah, Pete Best Band was in Buffalo, and on Offbeat Cinema in their little coffee house thing.
Yeah,
which you can see Offbeat Cinema. I don't know if that's around YouTube anywhere, but they were on it.
That's what I'm looking up right now, actually. Because
that's another one.
Since we're talking about that, they did a vinyl release of that, in case you were wondering.
Wow, no, I never knew that.
Look at you.
Yeah,
that was a great album.
It was limited to like 1,000 or 2,000 copies, and Pete signed each of them.
Oh,
I don't know if you can see that. It's got an autograph on it.
Oh, shit. Wow. That was nice.
Yeah.
I never even knew there was a vinyl release.
It's on green vinyl too. It's pretty rad, man.
Yeah, they're on Offbeat Cinema.
I would have never guessed, but you know, that's another thing that's cool is like just finding all this wacky stuff that you'd never expect.
Yep.
Yeah,
and Offbeat Cinema is in black and white, so Pete Best and the band were in black and white because they do everything in black and white.
Man.
Yep.
Guys, this has been wonderful. This has been beautiful. I appreciate all you guys taking your time out. Like I said, I'm glad to be back. I'm sorry that I've been gone for all this time, but I'm a lot better, and we're all good for it. And
good.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, I'm gonna.
Yes, sir.
Real quick, I'm gonna like stream in about 5 minutes if anybody's listening wants to. Come. I just play 45s and I talk a little between them, but that's it.
Good.
I've done it once or twice and people seem to enjoy it, and I've been asked to do it again, so I'm gonna go do that.
Nice. Maybe I will go spy for a couple minutes after I'm done with the one thing I gotta do.
And my channel is Tim Allen.
Nice. All right, man. So excellent. So, like I said, thank you everybody that's been on here. Thanks to studio audience, Peanut Gallery, and we're gonna leave it off with. I want everybody to have a good. Maybe you guys got a 3-day weekend here for Labor Day. I don't know. I might do one more maybe during my 3-day. I'm off for 3 days, which is nice. But
cool.
So yeah. So I just want everybody to have good vibes. Try and have themselves a good week. And as I always ended off with, I love you, Goth Angel. I miss you, Goth Angel. We're probably looking at next year. She ain't coming down this year, but that's okay. I understand why. So she'll be. It's called A Little Patience. Yeah. Anywho, I ain't no Axel, but so I just gotta have a little bit more patience. I've done it before, and I can do it again too. Hot diggity damn. But All right, everybody, take care. God bless. Rock on, and go check out Tim's spinning of the stack of wax in a matter of moments. And I'll be over there too in a little bit.
All right.
But thanks, Tim, Tyler, Steven, and everybody else. So take care. God bless. Rock on.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Close.
Yeah.